No. No, stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment. For this is a time of mystery. A time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is the haunting hour. Date in the dark. Midnight. Midnight in the metropolis. Town of 1,000 moods and contrasts. Of wealth and lightness and laughter. Of poverty, heartbreak, and tears. Of shadowy people and dark, dark things. Big city. Hard-boiled and tender. Weak and mean and cheap without dignity. And great and proud and powerful. And the metropolis at midnight, filled with the high spirits of joy seekers, revelers who give way to the goodness of living, or try to forget the badness of living. Midnight that is brooding, sinister. The sounds of the big city at midnight, the squeaks and roars of taxicabs, the rumble of trucks, the moan of river boats, and underground, the subway, and under and above, the sounds of the people, shrill, ribald, futile. But there is quiet, too, in the teeming city at midnight. The quiet that is broken by the wail of a child, the rattle of a snore, or, as in the home of Earl Breton, a private detective, and his partner, Owen Bailey, called the Professor. The telephone rings, and the Professor answers it.
Hello?
Earl Breton?
No, this is Mr. Bailey, Breton's partner. Who's calling?
This is Bill Henderson. Is Earl there?
Just a moment. It's Bill Henderson, Earl. Do you want to talk to him?
Bill Henderson? What does that crooked politician want?
Sounds very anxious.
Oh, that's too bad. Tell him I'm very busy. I gotta go to sleep.
Hello, Mr. Henderson.
Yeah?
I'm sorry, but Mr. Breton is not in...
Bailey. If Earl doesn't talk to me, he may be responsible for my death.
I can't possibly see how that...
Let me have the phone, Professor. Hello, Henderson.
Is you, Earl?
Yeah, what's on your mind?
I gotta see you right away, Earl. Can you meet me down at your office?
Office hours are from 10 to 2, Henderson. You know that. I'll see you tomorrow.
No, wait, Earl, wait. I tell you gotta see me tonight.
Now, look, I can't...
Wait until tomorrow, because I may never get there tomorrow.
How do you figure?
I can't explain it on the phone, but I know what I'm talking about. I gotta see you tonight. Got it.
Where are you now?
I'm at my house.
Okay, give me a few minutes to get a cup of something warm. I'll meet you down at the office.
Oh, thanks a million, Earl.
Never mind the thanks. Bring some money with you.
Don't worry about that, Earl. This is worth anything to me.
Goodbye.
What seems to be his trouble, Earl?
Well, he's probably swindled one guy too many.
Good.
What do you mean, good?
I mean, he picked a good time for it. We can very well use the money, you know.
Well, you can start drawing the bill now, Professor. And remember, after office hours, it's triple the usual.
Here comes the elevator now, Earl.
If we ever make enough dough, Professor, remind me to move out of this broken-down building.
All buildings are pretty much alike at this hour of night.
How do they expect one old guy to take care of this whole thing by himself?
He manages if you don't rush him.
Yeah.
What devil has got his finger on it? It's you, Mr. Breton. Faith, you'll never be known as a patient man.
I hate waiting for elevators, old-timer.
Good evening, Mr. Bailey.
Good evening. You've got lots to do around here, haven't you?
Sure. I've got to make the rounds, you know.
How's business?
Oh, very slow, Mr. Breton. You're the only two people I've seen all night.
Hey, it's pitch black out here, isn't it?
You want me to put the hall lights on?
Don't bother, old-timer. We'll make it.
It might help if you throw your flashlight beam down the hall.
Oh, sure thing. How's this?
That's fine. Here. I've got the key, Earl.
Right. Thanks, old-timer. We're okay now.
I'll be seeing you on the way down.
Now, if I can just find the switch. Here.
What's the matter with the light?
Looks like the switch don't work.
It's working all right when I left this evening. Where'd I find the desk lamp?
Find it, Earl?
Yeah. You didn't take the bulb out of this lamp, did you, Professor?
Of course not.
I've got an idea, Professor, that we have company.
You're a very smart chap, Breton.
Who's that?
Just stay where you are, both of you, and don't ask any questions. Mr. Breton knows that those lights are not out by accident, but if either of you makes a false move, there could be one.
What are you looking for?
Information.
And why keep us in the dark?
There's enough light for me from that street lamp shining in your window. I can see you both.
What do you want to know?
I understand, Breton, that you got some new dope on the Kennedy murder. Am I right?
Kennedy murder? Why, the police gave Kennedy up as a suicide 5 years ago. What would I be?
Stay where you are, Breton. I told you I can see.
Yeah, sure. Seems kind of... Yeah, I guess our visit is a little touchy, Professor.
You didn't believe that I could see you. Next time, I won't miss. Now, give it to me straight.
I told you I don't like the smell of a body that's been buried 5 years, and I ain't digging it up. Now, what else do you want?
Mr. Breton, are you in there?
Don't make a move.
Mr. Breton. Mr. Barry, whatever happened is...
Okay, I hope you get a big kick out of beating up a helpless old guy. That was very tough. Very.
Professor, what happened, Earl? Where are you?
Right over here where that voice was coming from, he's not here.
Maybe he moved over to another corner of the room.
Duck behind something, Professor. I'm going to light a match.
Careful now, Earl.
Well, I'll be there's nobody here.
Who's that lying in the doorway?
Wait a minute. Looks like the old-timer. Here's his flashlight. I'll turn it on.
Here, put him in this chair, Earl.
No, it's too late, Professor. He's dead.
Dead?
That dirty rat killing a sweet, harmless old man.
Wait, what's this here on the floor?
Let me see
Hotel key.
Hotel Markham, room 517.
Think that fell out of the old man's pocket?
No, that's a mobster's hotel. It's full of gamblers and racketmen.
Then that means if we go to room 517, we ought to be able to find out the man who did this.
You don't find anybody in that hotel. You smoke them out. Besides, that key might have been stolen just so somebody could plant it here. Don't you see that?
Then how are we going to know?
The voice, Professor. I'll never forget that voice. I'm promising the old man now that I'll find it.
Well, what do we do, Oil?
You go find Henderson and tell him we won't be able to see him tonight. I'm going to the Hotel Markham. Meet me there as soon as you're through. In front of the hotel.
And what about the old man?
On our way out, we'll ring the night alarm. That'll bring the police.
But aren't we going to tell him what happened?
Right now, Professor, we don't know any more than they do. Come on, let's go.
Anything I can do? Oh, hello, Breton.
How's the hotel business?
Oh, we don't complain.
Who's up in room 517?
I want to know.
I understand there's a game going on.
So?
So, I'd like to get in.
Well, there's a gentleman by the name of Sparrow rented the room. Maybe you know him.
That's all I wanted to hear. You can tell my good friend, Mr. Sparrow, I'm coming right up.
Don't worry. I will.
Oh. By the way, I hear there's a shortage of keys. You still lose many of them?
Certainly we do. Every day.
That's very interesting. Very interesting.
Well, look who's here, fellas. My old pal, Earl Breton.
Hiya, Sparrow.
Fine. Come on in.
How's the game?
Pretty good. You want to take a hand?
Yeah, maybe. How long you been playing?
Oh, about 12 hours. Now, meet the boys. All right, fellas. This is Dan Huber. He's new in this town.
Yeah? Didn't take you long to find this place, did it, Dan?
Mary, I got a nose for this stuff.
Yes. And you know Harry Jackson, Earl, don't you?
Sure, I know Harry. How are you, Harry?
Fine.
What did you say, Harry?
I said I'm fine. That's what I said.
Sure.
Now, this is Willie Garvin, and over here...
That's a funny name, Willie.
What's funny about it?
How do you spell it?
Garvin. Why? Does it sound familiar?
No, Willie, no.
And I don't have to introduce you to my partner, Joe Murray, huh?
Hello, Joe.
Hello.
Funny to find you and Sparrow in the same game, Joe.
What's funny about that?
Well, after all, you and Sparrow are partners, aren't you?
Nobody said for you, Breton, and if you don't like what goes on here, you can shove off. Come on, Earl. When are you going to stop burning up Joe? Anyhow, he just come in a few minutes ago. So we really just started playing together.
Oh, just came in a few minutes ago. Where were you, Joe?
Since when do I report to you?
Well, I'm just curious, that's all.
I told you before, Breton, I don't like coppers, and that still goes. Now, let's get the game going.
Well, Earl, you taking a hand?
Sure, but first I got to get the professor. He's got my dough. I'll be back in a few
Wait a minute, Breton. What are you trying to pull? Why didn't you bring your dough in the first place?
I just wanted to see who was in the game.
Oh, sure, Joe. He's got a right to know. Go ahead, Earl. Get your dough. Oh, but don't forget to come back, huh? Otherwise, it wouldn't look so good, huh?
Sure, don't worry. I'll be back.
Earl, I'm over here.
Oh. How long you been waiting, Professor?
I just got here. Did you find out anything?
No, not a thing. I listened to every voice up there. Not one of them was the right one. How about you? Did you see Henderson?
Yeah, that is, I didn't see him, but I found out about him.
What do you mean, found out about him?
Well, when I got there, Earl, there were a lot of people outside the house, and the police were there.
Police? What happened?
Henderson was murdered.
It was midnight when the phone rang in the home of Earl Breton, a private detective. A man named Henderson was calling. Henderson, a crooked politician who insisted he was in danger of being killed, and that he had to see Breton immediately. Earl agreed to meet him in his office, but when he and his partner, the professor, arrived a few minutes later, they were faced with a peculiar situation. The lights in the office wouldn't work, and before they could investigate, a voice challenged them from the darkness. Their unknown visitor fired at them, purposely missing, in order to warn them that he meant business. The sound of the gun attracted the attention of the night watchman. He came to investigate and was killed by the intruder, who disappeared, leaving Earl with the old man's body and a clue, the key to room 517 at the Hotel Markham. They rang the police alarm, and Earl sent the professor to intercept Henderson, to break the appointment they had with him. Then he went to the hotel, to room 517, where he expected to find the killer. He interrupted a card game, but Sparrow, the gangster who was registered in 517, invited Earl to sit in, much to the displeasure of his partner, Joe Murray. Breton accepted, promising to return soon. He went down to the street where the professor was waiting. The professor had news for him. Henderson had been murdered.
How did you find out he was murdered, Professor?
I overheard two policemen talking to one another.
Did the cops know you were there?
Oh, no. We wouldn't want them to know we was interested, would we?
Good for you, Professor.
But now that I think of it, Earl, shouldn't we tell the police what we know?
Well, that's a good idea, except that we don't know anything they can't find out for themselves.
But they don't know that Henderson called us to meet him at the office. And then when we got there, we met somebody else. And it was that somebody else who killed the night watchman.
I know there's some connection between those two things, Professor. In fact, if I didn't know Henderson's voice so well...
You'd say that it was the man at the office who imitated it?
Sure, that's an old trick. A man disguises his voice to sound like... Hey, just a minute, Professor. Why couldn't it be...
You mean you actually think that the man we met in the office was the one who called us earlier, and he imitated Henderson's voice?
No. That'd be too obvious. killer's much cleverer than that.
But you do think he had something to do with both of the murders?
Certainly, if he didn't, how would he know that we were coming down to the office at midnight? He was expecting us. So he must have been with Henderson at the time Henderson called us.
If you don't mind my saying so, Earl, it doesn't make sense. Why should this man have bothered to come down to our office just to ask us about some murder case that was over and forgotten 5 years ago?
That's just it, Professor. He didn't want that information at all. That was just to throw us off the track. That was why he left the key there when he slugged the old man and disappeared.
You mean he actually wanted us to follow him here to the Hotel Markham?
Don't you see? He was trying to establish the alibi that he was playing cards in this hotel at the time of the murder. And he could force us to testify as police witnesses that we saw him here.
Then why don't we tell that to the police?
Oh, Professor, you're slipping. You know the police don't want ideas. They've got their own. Besides, if we don't know whose voice we heard, what can we tell them?
Well, at least we can tell them that it was somebody who's up in that hotel room now.
Sure. But can we prove it?
I guess not. Well, then what can we do?
We gotta go upstairs and find out who that phony voice belongs to.
But life can be very short in a place like this. I mean, I'm not thinking about me.
I know, Professor, I know. But I made a promise to that old watchman that I'd find the guy who killed him, and I like to keep a promise.
Well, we ain't got enough money to play cards with those people.
They don't know that.
Well, I don't think it should take them more than one hand to find out.
All right, then you'll have to stall. Now, one of those guys up there has a phony British voice.
So?
Listen.
Stay where you are, Breton. I told you I can see.
How's that?
If I wasn't looking at you, I'd swear it was the guy in the room.
Good. That's all I wanted to know.
I knew you'd keep your promise to come back, Earl.
Oh, why not? This is my night, Sparrow.
Well, come on, take a chair.
I think I'll let the professor play for me. I do much better when I'm looking over his shoulder.
Suit yourself.
Let's get going. You're holding up the game.
How many chips, Professor?
That's up to Earl.
Chips? Why, what do you say we start off with $10 worth, Professor? I got a hunch.
I guess that's all right.
Wait a minute. Who you kidding, Breton? Since when do you figure you can get in on this game for $10?
That's just a starter, Joe. I always like to play hunches.
But you've got more than that, haven't you, Earl?
You know better than to ask me that, Sparrow.
Yeah? Let's see. Okay, deal 'em out.
Joe, if I didn't know that you just came into this game a little while ago, I'd figure that you were losing plenty.
Why?
Oh, you're so touchy.
I open. $5.
Raise your 10.
I'm out.
Well, playing it safe, Professor.
I'd rather not explain my game.
Maybe if Joe played it safer, he wouldn't be so worried all the time.
Oh, Joe. Joe's got lots on his mind.
I don't know, Sparrow. You're Joe's partner. You never seem to worry like he does.
What do you mean, worry? Who says I'm worried? I'm just careful, that's all. I don't trust nobody, see?
Nobody? You mean not even Sparrow, your own partner?
I said nobody.
Oh, Joe thinks maybe I talk too much.
That's right.
I didn't hear you say anything out of place, Sparrow.
He thinks I made a mistake telling you he just came into the game a little while ago.
I told you to shut up, Sparrow.
Oh, come on, Joe. You don't have to be afraid of Earl Breton.
He's a cop, and I told you don't have to know nothing.
He wouldn't repeat anything he heard up here, would you, Earl?
I always play it safe.
I think you're all right, Earl.
Mind if I stand up?
Where you going?
I just want to walk around a little bit, stretch my legs.
Just don't go looking at any hands.
Okay. I'll stand over here by the wall.
You're going to let the professor play by himself?
Sure. Hey, this is a very interesting electric light switch.
You guys don't cut the chatter, I'll blow this game off.
Hey, wait a minute.
Who put those lights out? Put the lights on.
What are you getting so crazy about, Joe? You act as if you just murdered someone.
Put up the lights, I said, quick.
I'm sorry, Joe. That was my mistake. I didn't know the light switched off this way.
Shut up. And you, Sparrow. What was the idea of saying I murdered someone?
What are you talking about, Joe? I didn't say anything.
Don't give me that stuff. I heard you. You can't fool me with that phony voice you put on.
I told you I didn't say anything.
Oh, yeah? Well, I happen to know that nobody else but you talks that way.
Cut it, you dope. Didn't you know that wasn't my voice?
Sparrow, if you're trying to pull anything...
Okay, Joe. Sparrow's right. Now, don't get sore. It was my fault. I didn't know.
That ain't the point, Breton. I want to know what he's trying to pull. And it ain't none of your business, copper.
I just wanted to tell you I'm sorry. It was my voice you heard, Joe.
What? Are you? All right, what's the game, Breton?
No game, Joe. Just a joke, that's all.
Sure, Joe. Just a joke. Very funny, too. Can't you take a joke, Joe?
Nuts. All right, Breton. You want to stay in this game, get up some real dough, or beat it?
Okay, I'll come clean with you. That's all the dough we got with us right now. If you let me go in the next room and make a call, I'll get some sent up here right away.
Why, sure. You want to use the phone, huh? Yes, it's right in the next room.
Thanks, Sparrow.
This is the desk.
Hello. Get me Spring 73100.
Spring 73100.
Fine.
Who are you kidding? That's police headquarters. Say, if you got any complaints to make... Hold on there. Hey, wait a minute. What goes on here? Just one of your keys.
Oh, hello, Sparrow. I can't say much for your phone service.
No? What's the matter with it?
They wouldn't get a number for me.
I see. Who you calling that's so important?
The police. I guess I can wait.
Yeah. Say, I'm glad you came in here, Breton. I wanted to have a little talk with you. Alone.
You wouldn't use that revolver right here in this room, would you?
Wouldn't I? You know, I can do pretty much as I want to in this hotel. You know that, don't you?
Yeah. But if you killed me now, wouldn't you have to tell Joe why you did it?
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, wouldn't you have to tell him that you were tired of being partners with him and Henderson? That you wanted the whole racket for yourself? So that you killed Henderson, trying to make it look as though Joe did it so he could take the rap?
If you're trying to talk loud so Joe will hear you, I might as well tell you he just left.
Well, at least I found out it was you who slugged the night watchman in my building tonight.
So what?
Just that you killed him, that's all.
You shouldn't have gotten away.
Then you're admitting that you killed Henderson and the watchman.
Only to you, Breton. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to make sure that you'll never be able to tell it to the cops. See?
I don't have to tell them, Sparrow. They know about it already.
Oh, sure. You gave them all this information before you came up here.
No, I didn't tell them. You did.
You know something, Breton? I'm beginning to think you're a little bit nuts.
I suppose you wouldn't believe me if I told you the police are listening to you right now? They heard you admit all this to me?
Oh, now, wait a minute. Don't tell me you hid him in my closet.
No. But they're right outside in that room where we were just playing cards.
You're crazy.
Why don't you take a look?
Because I ain't dumb enough to turn my back on you.
Then that makes it easy for them to come in.
Drop the gun, Sparrow. Give it here.
But it is the cops. But
We heard the whole thing outside, Benton. Pretty smart.
how did you get the cops up here?
I didn't get them, Sparrow. You did.
Cut it out, Breton.
It's true. You know the best way to bring the police is to leave a hotel key next to a dead man, and that's what you did.
Yeah, but you picked it up.
Not me. I just made a mental note of it, that's all.
What puzzles me, Earl, is how you know the police were out here when you made Sparrow talk.
Ah, that was easy. When I tried to put through a call before, I heard a voice at the switchboard asking about a key. And I just played a hunch.
Now, I'm glad we got here in time. Come along, Sparrow.
Well, Professor, let's go home.
Yes, Earl.
Oh, and look, if our phone rings again tonight, don't answer it.
From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubts and fears. For mystery is a strange companion, a living memory in the haunting hour.
stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment, for this is a time of mystery, a time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is the Haunting Hour. The Thought.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your pleasure and amazement, the 78 Club presents the great Marlowe, the mental marvel. Gifted with a seventh sense, the great Marlowe reads your mind, tells your every thought. Now, let me warn you, if you have a secret you don't want him to know, just don't think about it. Presenting the great Marlowe.
Thank you. Frankly, I can't explain the performance you're about to witness. Science, without explaining it, calls it telepathy. Thought transfer.
I call it hokum.
The gentleman says it's hokum. Maybe. We'll see. Now, everybody in this room, concentrate. Think of a thing or a person. Concentrate. Think hard. I have a thought. Someone is thinking of the initials SG. Will the person thinking of SG please rise?
I've been thinking of SG.
Well, thank you. Young lady, you are concentrating on the name of Stanley Green. Is that right?
Well, yes.
Stanley is in the Army, I believe. Correct.
Yes, he's a sergeant.
And you want me to tell you Stanley's serial number? It's 34000767. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I have another thought. Someone is thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, please bear with me a moment. I'll have to stop this performance. Believe me, it's important. I'll be back very shortly.
I told you it was hokum.
What happened, Professor? Forget your code?
Hey, what's the idea of stopping the act that way? Where's your telephone directory, Moreno? What are you trying to do, ruin my club's reputation? Shut up, Moreno. Where's your... Oh, here.
Now, listen, Marlowe, I'm paying you $2,000 a week.
Glenwood.
I expect to get my money's worth.
Listen, will you please leave? Just as soon as I'm through with this call, I'll finish the act.
All right, but make it snappy.
And close the door.
Hello?
I should like to speak to Helen Thornton.
Well, this is Mrs. Thornton.
Helen Thornton?
Yes. Who's this?
My name is Marlowe. I'm a telepathist performing at the 78 Club. A few moments ago, during my act, I received a thought that is vital to you. Are you alone?
Yes.
Do as I say, please. Lock all your windows and doors. Allow no one in under any circumstances
This is someone's idea of a practical joke.
No, Mrs. Thornton. This is no joke. Someone here in this nightclub is planning to kill you.
Hello?
This is Mildred, Helen. I just got in.
Oh, I've been trying to get you for hours. I know it's very late, but could you come over?
Helen, what's the matter?
Oh, Mildred, I'm so frightened. I'm alone here.
Where's Jack?
Well, he's out of town, and it's Marie's night off. Mildred, I don't know what to do.
What's wrong? You sound
Mildred,
like...
will you come over right away, please? You can spend the night. Oh.
Helen, what happened? What's wrong with you?
Oh, Jack.
Helen, are you all right? Look, I'll be right over.
No, Mildred, it's all right now. Jack's come home.
What was the matter?
Well, I'll speak to you tomorrow.
All right. Good night.
Oh, Jack.
What's the matter? What happened, darling? Helen, for pity's sake, what is it? Pull yourself together, darling. Here, come on over here.
Oh,
There, that's better. Now, what is it,
Oh,
darling?
Jack, I'm so glad you're home. It's been awful. I didn't expect you, and when I heard the door...
Well, I finished my business in New York sooner than I'd planned. I would have wired, but I thought I'd surprise you. I met Fred Hamilton on the train coming home. Remember the buyer from St. Louis? He stopped off for a drink downtown. And...
Jack, you should have called me.
As a matter of fact, I did try to phone you around 11. I tried to get you just as we were leaving the 78 Club.
The 78 Club? You were there? You...
Well, what is it, darling?
Well, nothing. I'm all right now.
Well, something is wrong, Helen. What is it?
I guess I was just frightened being alone.
Well, you've been alone before many times.
Yes, but that call...
What call?
Well, the police. They called.
Oh?
There was a robbery in the neighborhood.
Oh, so that's it. That's why the door was double locked. Well, darling, there's nothing to worry about now. I'm here, right?
Yes, Jack. You're here.
There, that's better. Good night's sleep, and you'll be as good as new.
Yes, Jack.
Now, you lie there and relax, darling. I'll go to the kitchen and make you a cup of warm milk.
Thanks, Jack. Paul, it's Helen. Didn't you get my message? I called twice.
Yes, but I just got in. I thought you'd be asleep by now.
Paul, you must help me. Please, Paul, there isn't much time.
Helen, what's the trouble?
He's going to kill me.
What are you...
Jack's going to kill me, Paul. He came tonight.
Helen, what are you talking about?
Paul, you must believe me.
Now, listen, Helen. You've probably had a bad dream. Is Jack there?
Yes, please. You must believe me. I know what he's going to do.
Well, we'll straighten this thing out. Let me speak to Jack.
No, you mustn't. Please, listen to me. He's coming now. You'll never see me again, alive. Goodbye, Paul. Don't bother folding up the dresses, Marie. Just throw them in.
Mrs. Thornton, isn't this kind of sudden you're going away?
Don't ask questions, Marie. Hurry, please. Here, help me close this suitcase. You finish packing the other suitcase. I'm going down to get the car out of the garage.
Morning, Helen.
Jack.
You look so surprised to see me.
Well, Marie said you'd gone. I didn't expect...
Well, I decided to come back. See, I caught you in time.
I was just going over to Mildred's.
So early in the morning?
We have an appointment for golf.
Nothing in those clothes?
Well...
Darling, all right. Helen, I'll tell you why I came back this morning. Frankly, I'm worried about you. Something's on your mind. I know it. Won't you tell me what it is?
I'm all right.
Okay, Helen. Now listen to me. I had some very important business to settle in the office with Paul this morning, but you come first.
You saw Paul this morning?
No, I changed my mind on the way down and came back. Helen, you need a rest. You and I are going away.
No, Jack,
yes?
no.
Now, there's no use arguing. I've already made a reservation for the weekend.
Where are you taking me, Jack?
Remember that cabin we stayed at 3 years ago?
Oh.
It'll be wonderful. Just the two of us, all alone. We'll drive out there tomorrow. Now, there's no need to fuss either. Just a few old duds and my rifle.
Your rifle?
Yes, darling, my gun. The hunting season is on. The shooting at Lone Acres should be very good this year.
What's this all about?
Paul, I had to see you.
Yeah, but why here at Luigi's all the way across town?
It's safer here.
What's gotten into you?
Jack's going to kill me.
Helen?
He is, Paul.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Helen. Why, that's what you told me over the phone last night.
He changed his plan.
Oh, I see. And why, Mrs. Thornton, is your husband going to kill you?
Because he's jealous of you.
Jealous?
Jack jealous of me?
He knows what we once meant to each other before I married him.
Well, of course he does. So what? Why, his winning you is a standard joke between Jack and me. Rivals in love, partners in business, and all that stuff. Come on, snap out of it. I think I'd better talk to Jack about you.
No, Paul, you mustn't. Promise me you won't.
Oh, all right, Helen, if you say so.
Jack's taking me to Lone Acres tomorrow for a rest, he said.
Good. It's just what you need, Helen.
I'll never come back alive.
No, Helen, get hold of yourself. Everything's all right. Your imagination's overworked, that's all. You should go to Lone Acres for a rest. It'll do you a world of good.
All right, Paul, I'll go. But I'm so frightened. So frightened. Paul, we'll be alone and he'll have his gun.
You know, Helen, sometimes I think I love this gun more than I do you. There, it's okay now. Clean as a whistle and fit for the work at hand. Say, look, the fog's lifting. You can see clear across the valley. No, we'll get in some hunting today after all. Helen, what's the matter? You haven't said a word since breakfast.
I'm all right. I've been wanting to finish this story.
The Golden Goblet Murders. You know, detective stories hand me a laugh. Now, if I were planning a murder, I'd use a gun, like this Springfield. Just say, for instance, I wanted to kill... Well, say I wanted to kill...
Me?
All right. Say I wanted to kill you. Now, let's see. We have to have a motive, don't we? Well, I'd have it. Motive, jealousy.
Jealousy?
Yes, I'm jealous of Paul Allen. That's it. I'm jealous of Paul.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, come on, darling. Be a sport. Our murder plot is just beginning to get interesting. Now, let's see. We need a locale. Well, Lone Acres, right here. What a perfect setting for a perfect murder. And now for the time.
Yes, Jack. When are you going to kill me?
Well, I shouldn't really tell you when I plan to kill you, but I'll give you a break. This afternoon. How's that? We'll be out in the woods hunting. No one will be too near. No one to see what happens. The hunting season, a gunshot, you're dead. A regrettable accident. And there's our perfect murder.
Thornton has discovered that someone wishes to murder her. A mental telepathist performing at a nightclub read the thought from among the guests. Later, Helen was shocked to learn that one of the guests present in the nightclub was her husband, Jack. She fears that he might want to kill her because of his jealousy of Paul, a former suitor. Her anxiety is heightened, and her husband suggests that they go away for a weekend to Lone Acres, an isolated hunting lodge. Once there, Jack tells her it's a perfect setting for a possible perfect crime. Her murder. A hunting accident in the woods.
Helen. Here, up this way. Follow this path around the bend here.
Jack?
Yeah?
Would you mind if I went back to the cabin?
Well, there's a clearing up here, darling. We'll stop for a rest. Helen?
Yes?
I'm going to circle this hill. You wait right there for me, will you?
Jack, please don't leave me here alone.
A regrettable accident, Mr. Thornton.
But, Doctor, I don't understand how it happened.
No, Mr. Thornton, it's really nothing serious. Just a shoulder flesh wound. Your wife's perfectly all right.
Well, when may I see her?
Right now. We'll go in right now.
Thank you. She's asleep.
Go ahead. Wake her up. She'll feel better knowing you're here.
Helen. Helen, darling.
Huh?
It's me, Helen. Jack.
Mrs. Thornton, it's your husband.
Doctor, Get him out of here. He's going to kill me. Please, Doctor, you must save me.
Mr. Thornton, perhaps you'd better leave the room for a while.
All right, Doctor. I'll wait outside.
Doctor, please don't let him in here again. You must believe me. He's planning to kill me.
Mrs. Thornton, what happened was an accident.
Well, that's what he wants you to think. He planned it that way, but it wasn't an accident.
Now, Mrs. Thornton, it's perfectly natural in a case like this that you should imagine strange things.
Doctor, you think I'm crazy, don't you? I'm not. I know what I'm saying. You yourself took the bullet out of my shoulder. Doesn't that prove to you that my husband shot me?
On the contrary, Mrs. Thornton. At the scene of the accident, they found your husband with a .32 caliber rifle in his hands. The bullet I removed from your shoulder was a .45 caliber pistol cartridge.
Marie! Marie!
Yes, Mrs. Thornton, I'll be right up. I was just cleaning up the cellar, ma'am.
Oh, Mrs. Thornton, you have the sling off. Yes, Marie. The doctor says the shoulder's okay now. Pretty soon I'll be playing golf again.
Oh, that's fine, ma'am. I'm so glad.
Thanks, Marie. Were there any calls for me while I was out?
Oh, Mr. Thornton called to tell you not to wait up for him. He'll be home very late. And, Mr. Allen called too, Mrs. Thornton.
Did he say what he wanted?
No, ma'am. Said he'd try to get you later on. Oh, and Mrs. Thornton, I was thinking... Do you suppose Mr. Thornton wants to keep this box of bullets downstairs on the open shelf? I was thinking it might be dangerous, ma'am.
Bullets?
Yes, ma'am. This box here.
Let me see that box, Marie. 45 caliber cartridges. 45 caliber cartridges.
At the scene of the accident, they found your husband with a .32 caliber rifle in his hands. The bullet I removed from your shoulder was a .45 caliber pistol cartridge.
Good evening. Have you a reservation, madame?
No, I've come to see the great Marlowe.
Yes, madame. Then perhaps table on the side. This way, please.
No, I mean I've come to see him on a personal matter. He's expecting me.
Oh, I see, madame. Albert, show this lady to the great Marlowe's dressing room.
And when the doctor told me about the bullet he removed from my shoulder, I thought it was all a terrible mistake. I was even too ashamed to explain to Jack why I'd acted the way I did. But now, Mr. Marlowe, I'm sure that what you told me over the phone that night is true. Someone is really planning to kill me.
Are you
my
sure?
Husband.
Husband. Are you sure the doctor said it was a .45 caliber cartridge?
Yes. A .45 caliber cartridge. Just like these that Marie found in the basement.
Does your husband have a pistol?
I think so. He keeps his guns locked in a case. He has the only key. Mr. Marlowe, he tried once and failed. He'll try again. You must help me.
All right, Mrs. Thornton, I'll do all I can. Where is your husband now?
Oh, he's out on business. He'll be home late.
Then we'll have to work fast. Now, let me see. I go on again at 9 o'clock. I want you to go home immediately and find some way of opening the case in which your husband keeps his guns. I'll call you just as soon as my act is over. Mrs. Thornton, if you can find a .45 caliber pistol in that case, I think we can put an end to this affair.
Hello?
This is Marlowe.
I opened the case. There was no pistol.
Mrs. Thornton,
I searched all through the house, and I can't find it anywhere. He must have it with him.
Mrs. Thornton.
What shall I do? I can't stay here tonight. He'll kill me.
Mrs. Thornton, listen to me, please. You must come down here immediately. A few minutes ago, during my act, I received the murder thought again. Mr. Thornton is in this nightclub.
My husband is there now?
Yes, meet me in my dressing room. Be sure to come in through the back entrance, and hurry.
All right, Mr. Marlowe.
And where am I supposed to be right now?
Jack. Oh, but, Jack, he said you were standing there all the time. You heard everything.
Enough.
Well, It's not you. Well, then who is it at the 78 Club?
Me? 78 Club? Helen, are you going to tell me what this is all about?
Not you. Oh, yes, darling. I'm going to tell you everything, everything. I should have told you before. I wanted to, only... Oh, Jack, I need you so much.
Now, look here, Marlowe. I want to get to the bottom of this.
But Mrs. Thornton and I have told you everything.
Yes, well, then explain to me why at the very moment I was standing in my own home listening to my wife talk to you on the phone, you were telling Mrs. Thornton that I was sitting in this nightclub planning to kill her. Oh, don't you see, Helen, this man's a cheap trickster. Why, he's never even seen me before. Why didn't you come to me when this all started, darling?
Jack, I was afraid.
Because she thought you were the one, and so did I. That's why I assumed it was you sitting out there. Of course, I never saw you before you entered my dressing room a few minutes ago. You see, Mr. Thornton, I have a telepathic mind, not a magic eye. I know what your wife and I have told you is hard to believe.
I don't know what your game is, Marlowe. But I'll find out soon enough. Come on, Helen, we're going to police headquarters.
That won't be necessary, Mr. Thornton. The police know about this. I told them.
What?
The police are here now in this nightclub. Mr. Thornton, whether you believe it or not, your wife's life is in jeopardy. Someone in this club now is planning to kill her. Perhaps this will convince you. You own a .45 caliber pistol with a serial number 75682.
What? Yes, that's right. That's the pistol I reported as missing.
Yes, I know. The police told me tonight.
Jack, why didn't you tell me?
Well, darling, you've been so upset lately, I didn't want to cause you any more anxiety.
That pistol is, in all likelihood, the same weapon that was used up at Lone Acres in an attempt on your wife's life. Mr. Thornton, that pistol was brought to this club tonight by the person who is planning to kill your wife. The police found it concealed in an overcoat in the hat check room. Whoever claims that coat is Mrs. Thornton's intended murderer.
Oh, why should anyone want to kill her?
Who can it be?
We'll soon find out. Mr. Thornton, do you recall the night you were in this club? The night I first received the murder thought?
Yes.
That night, did you see anybody here, or were you with anyone who knows both you and Mrs. Thornton very well?
Well, let me see. Well, yes. No, it couldn't be.
Pardon me, please.
There we got him, Mr. Marlowe. Here he is.
Will you bring him in, Inspector?
All right, you this way. Come on.
Mrs. Thornton, your intended murderer.
Paul.
That's right. He was with me here the night you received the murder thought.
It was Paul all the time.
Yeah. And it almost worked, yes. And all the clues pointed to you, Mr. Thornton.
But why? We were so friendly, the three of us.
Friendly? More than that, Mrs. Thornton. Paul Allen was hopelessly in love with you.
Mr. Marlowe, you're on.
All right, I'm coming.
Let's go, Alan.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the 78 Club presents the great Marlowe, the mental marvel. He'll read your mind and tell your every thought. But let me warn you, if you have a secret you don't want him to know, just don't think about it.
From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubt and fear. For mystery is a strange companion, a living memory. In the haunting hour.
No. No, stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment. For this is a time of mystery. A time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is the Haunting Hour. The Uptown Express.
That night didn't begin any differently from any other night. At least it doesn't seem to me that it did. I left work the same as usual, and I hurried because I was late and we were having supper early again so my brother Sid could get to law school on time. I walked down to Broadway and 42nd Street and into the Uptown subway, just the way I always did. I got on, pushed my way in with the crowd. There was an empty seat, and I took it. A girl in front of me was hanging onto the strap. In the other hand, she held the evening paper. I remember looking at it and reading the weather forecast. Fair and somewhat milder, it said. And I thought, tomorrow I can wear my light coat. I was tired. I was awfully tired. I leaned my head back for a minute and closed my eyes. And then...
Tired, baby?
I sat bolt upright.
I'll make you some coffee when we get home. That'll fix you up.
What was he talking about? When we get home. I looked at him. There was something I was trying desperately to remember. But I couldn't. He was in his early 30s, dark and very good looking. But his eyes were hard and his lips were drawn back into a tight little smile. The hand clinging to my arm was large and powerful. The girl in front of me was still holding onto the strap with that paper clutched tightly in one hand. He leaned forward a little so he could see it better.
Cloudy with probable thunder showers. Now, wouldn't you think we've had enough rain for 1 week?
Rain? But the paper had said fair. Fair and somewhat milder. I looked at it again myself. And he was right. Then I knew I was really frightened. The date on that paper was February 21st, 1950. Everything seemed to blur before my eyes for a minute, and I felt a little sick. I looked down and saw a wedding band on my left hand. A simple gold wedding band that hadn't been there 5 minutes before. It was almost as if I half expected to see it there. If the date on that paper was right, if this really were 1950, then something told me that this man, this stranger sitting beside me, was my husband. And somewhere, somehow, on that Uptown Express, I'd lost 5 years of my life.
Come on, Lindy. We get off here.
We walked up the stairs and out into the street. It was raining. It hadn't been raining before.
We'll have to make a run for it. It's raining pretty hard.
We started to run down a long, dark street I'd never seen before. Then we turned into a narrow entrance into a dingy apartment building. We shut the rain outside, and we were alone.
Never mind your key. I have mine right here. Oh, wait a minute. I think there's some mail.
I looked at the name on the box. Vincent. Mr. and Mrs. John Vincent. Johnny and Linda Vincent. That was us.
Oh, this is rich. Look what it is. A political circular. Sidney Damon for district attorney. Fearless, courageous. That's a laugh, sending it to us.
Sid? For district attorney? My brother, Sidney?
Yes, and it don't sound much better than it smells. Not for my money.
But...
Come on. It's cold down here. Let's get upstairs.
We climbed the stairs to the second floor to a small apartment way in the back. I kept thinking of Sid. Less than an hour ago, he was going to City College nights to study law. And now in my hand was a circular that said he was running for district attorney. But it wasn't an hour ago. That was in 1945. 5 years ago. This was 1950.
There. Turn on the light. It's near you.
I felt along the wall and found the switch.
That's better. It's cold in this dump. Never any heat when we need it. Did you speak to that lousy janitor yet? You said you were going to.
I will, Johnny.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to snap at you. It's just that business of your smart aleck brother running for DA. I don't like it.
Why, Johnny? Why don't you like it?
Oh, cut it. Don't ask silly questions. Come here and kiss me instead.
Johnny, I...
What's the matter?
Nothing.
Well, come here, then. You know what? Your hair's all wet and your mascara's run a little around the edges. You look awful, honey. But to me, you're still beautiful.
Please, Johnny, don't kiss me anymore.
What's the idea?
I'm cold. I'm wet. I'll be all right.
Sure. I understand. Go in and change and I'll fix you something hot.
I went into the bedroom. On the bureau was a picture of the two of us. Me, Linda Damon, and this man I'd never seen before. I picked it up. Across the front of it was written, Atlantic City, September 1946. I looked at it for a few minutes, then I put it back on the bureau and walked over to the closet. On one side were his clothes, and on the other, what I supposed were my things. I found a light blue house dress and changed into it quickly. It fit perfectly.
Ready, Lindy? Come and get it.
In a minute.
Here.
Oh, thanks. Aren't you going to put on some dry clothes?
No, I'm okay. I'll hold out your cup. And one for me. Well, what do we drink to? Even if it's only coffee, we have to drink to something.
Well, what we always drink to, Johnny.
All right, darling. You want to make the toast, or shall I?
You make it.
Here goes, then. To our house. The one with the front porch, the backyard, and the attic. Okay?
Okay.
Do you think we'll ever have it?
Have what, Johnny?
That house. All my life I remember living in little box flats with walls so paper thin you could hear the guy next door yelling at his old lady, or her nagging at him. Just as if there weren't enough of that stuff in your own place. And the hallways always full with dirty little kids with their faces needing washing and their eyes too old for the rest of them. And the garbage in big, ugly cans in front of the buildings when it was so hot you could hardly breathe.
Johnny.
I guess maybe you don't understand.
Is that why you want the house, Johnny?
Sure. Imagine, Lindy, a house. Not a flat, not a couple of caged-in little rooms, but a big house with a front porch and a backyard and an attic. All mine. All ours, Lindy. Oh, Lindy, do you love me?
Oh, yes, Johnny. I do love you very much.
Hey, what got me started?
I did. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be. Don't ever be sorry for anything. Oh, it couldn't be bad if it comes from you because you're good, Lindy. I'm not, and I know it. Oh, look what I'm doing to you, making you live in a hole like this, not a decent dress to your name.
I don't care, Johnny.
Oh, but you'll see. It's going to be different. Maybe sooner than you expect. How would you like to move? Out into the country, to our house. Well, I wasn't going to tell you until everything was set, but here, start on this. Go out tomorrow and buy yourself some clothes. You know, real high-class stuff.
Johnny, all that money.
And plenty more where that came from.
But I don't...
I'll get it. Stay where you are. Yeah? What is it, Charlie? Who? Oh, he was. Well, what did he want? Yeah? Well, just lay low until I get in touch with you. I'll think of something. So long.
Who was that?
Just a friend of mine, business acquaintance. You wouldn't know him.
Oh.
I'm telling you, it was nothing important.
I didn't say anything.
Well, don't, and stop looking as though I just finished beating you.
Don't shout, Johnny.
Well, I didn't mean it, baby. My nerves are on edge, that's all. I wonder if it stopped raining.
Did it?
It let up a little, maybe. Not much.
Why are you standing at the window? Were you expecting someone?
What do you mean by that? Who should I be expecting? You've been talking to your brother, haven't you? You've been seeing him again.
Johnny, you're hurting me.
I told you to keep away from that family of yours, didn't I? If I'm not good enough for him, that's just too bad.
Johnny, my arm.
Tell me the truth. Have you seen Sid? What's he been telling you? It's a lie, but you believe me, don't you?
I don't know what you're talking about. Please, Johnny, you're hurting me.
Darling, forgive me. Oh, Lindy, you've got to promise me you'll stay with me, no matter what.
What is it, Johnny? What have you done?
Oh, I'm in an awful mess. I'm in deeper than I've ever been in my life. This time I'm afraid.
Will you tell me? Maybe I can help you. I'm your wife.
Oh, I don't deserve you. I don't deserve ever to have met you.
Johnny.
What?
Tell me. Tell me again how we met. I like to hear it.
You're just like a little kid, aren't you? Just a funny little kid.
Tell me.
Okay. It was February 21st, 1945. 5 years ago.
Yes?
And there you were. And I saw you.
Where, Johnny?
On the subway. On the Uptown Express. What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. I have a little headache, that's all. Go on.
You're sure you're all right?
Yes, I'm all right. Go ahead.
Well, I saw you and I said to myself, that brother is for me. Mm-hmm. Then I made up my mind I was going to meet you.
And then what did you do?
I said, pardon me, miss, am I on the right train for 86th Street?
And what did I say?
And you said, no, you'll have to change it to the local at 72nd. Then we started to talk.
Just as easy as that?
Just as easy as that. I think you wanted to meet me, too. Who's that?
Oh, I don't know. I'll open it.
Linda.
What?
Stay where you are. Don't answer that. Who is it?
Johnny, what are you doing with that gun?
Who is it?
Me, Sidney.
Wait a minute. Your big shot brother.
Sid?
Yeah. I guess I won't need this gun. Here, put it on the table.
Sid.
Listen to me carefully. I was with you last Monday night. That's all you know. That's your story, and you'd better stick to it. Remember.
Life is filled with mystery, and it was a strange afternoon when Linda Damon boarded the Uptown Express. For without warning, time jumped ahead, and the newspaper datelines read February 21st, 1950. Then she heard the man sitting next to her say,
"Come on, Lindy, we get off here."
He was her husband, and his name was Johnny. Mystified, afraid to question, Linda followed him home. Johnny spoke of how they had met 5 years before on the Uptown Express, and Linda listened. Then came a knock on the door. Johnny reached for his gun. The newcomer was Sid, Linda's brother, a candidate for the office of district attorney. Johnny turned to Linda and said,
"Listen, Linda, carefully. I was with you last Monday night, and that's all you know. That's your story, and you'd better stick to it. Remember." Yeah, just a minute.
Hello, Linda.
Sid.
What do you want, Damon?
It's so good to see you, Sid. How's Mom?
You've got kind of a nerve asking that, haven't you?
Oh, please, Sid, I don't understand.
Forget it, baby. Let him speak his piece and get out. What's on your mind, Mr. District Attorney?
You're a little premature. But thanks anyway.
Come on into the living room, Sid. Here, let me take your coat. It's wet.
Linda, he'll go into that living room over my dead body.
Which is just the way I'd like it, Vincent.
Why, you were...
Johnny! Sid! What's the matter? What is it?
Linda, haven't you had enough yet? Why don't you come home where you belong? Mom's worse. Every day since you left, she gets worse. Doesn't it mean anything to you that you're killing her?
Mom?
What are you trying to do? Wring blood out of her? Leave her alone.
Don't you care, Linda? What's he done to you?
Leave her alone. That's what you came here to say. You said it. Now get out.
That's not quite all, Vincent.
No? Well, spill it then.
Last Monday night, a man by the name of Bucky Stevens was murdered.
So what?
Johnny! Johnny, what's he trying to say?
Be quiet, Lindy. Go on, big shot. What's it to me?
That's just what I wondered, Vincent. Bucky'd been gambling, but I suppose you know the story.
Sorry, I don't know nothing.
No? Too bad you missed it. It's been on all the front pages, too. Maybe you just forgot, Vincent. I'll refresh your memory. Bucky'd been gambling heavily, and he won. He was pretty tight and made a lot of noise about it. Things like that get around fast.
I don't like your story. Maybe it's just the way you tell it.
Oh? I'm sorry. But don't worry, it gets better as it goes along. When Bucky left the club alone with that nice fat wallet, 3 men got into another car and followed him.
Yeah?
See, I told you it got better. Gets better still. They forced his car off the road, took his money, murdered him, and then threw his body in the river.
Johnny.
Then what?
Then nothing. That's all there was to it. The 3 men escaped in their car, and the next morning Earl Marino and his 2 henchmen were picked up and booked for the murder. The police thought they had a case. As a matter of fact, they still do.
Thanks for the bedtime story. Are you through?
In a minute. You see, Vincent, the police, the DA, everyone was convinced it was Marino and his gang. Everyone except me, that is.
So?
So I said to myself, I wonder where Johnny Vincent was Monday night. Johnny and those 2 playmates of his, Charlie Rossi and Joe Kagan. Just idle curiosity, you understand.
Get to the point. You take too much time.
Okay, I will. I did a little private investigating. And I've got proof that it was you and your pals. I've got enough proof to send the 3 of you to the electric chair.
Sid, don't say that. Why, he couldn't have. Johnny couldn't have.
Why won't you believe me, Linda? I tell you I can prove it. And I intend to. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to the DA with my evidence. And I'm giving you fair warning. It's packed solid. They'll spring Marino and pick you up, Vincent. And the charge will be murder.
You think you're pretty smart, don't you?
No. Just smarter than you, that's all.
Well, don't think you can get away with this.
I know I can.
And if you do, it won't hurt the election any, will it, Damon? Brilliant young prosecuting attorney solves case single-handed. That'll look cute on campaign buttons.
Not bad. But to tell you the truth, I wasn't thinking of that so much. I've been out to get you for a long time for what you've done to Lindy. And this is once you're not going to be able to talk your way out of it.
And just what do you think you've gained by coming here?
I want Linda to be home where she belongs tomorrow, when the police come to get you.
Thanks for the warning.
Oh, you can skip if you're dumb enough. See how far you'll get. By tomorrow night, every paper in the country will have your picture plastered all over the front page.
Johnny's not going anywhere, Sid, and neither am I. He'll stay here and stand trial if he has to, and I'll stand by him. Johnny was with me last Monday night.
Linda, you don't know what you're saying.
Don't I? Well, I'm sorry, but I don't believe you, Sid. Johnny couldn't have murdered anybody.
Nothing I can say will make you change your mind?
No, nothing. Please go, will you?
Sure. Sorry I bothered you. When you need us, we'll still be waiting for you. Come home. So long, Vincent. See you in court.
Oh, Johnny, my own brother. How could he?
Thanks for trying anyway, baby. But this time he means business.
You don't have to be afraid, Johnny, if you're innocent.
What do you mean, if?
Oh, I didn't mean it that way, Johnny. Believe me.
Oh, you're trying to kid. He's got the goods on me, and I know it.
Johnny, you mean he was right? He was telling the truth? Johnny, did you...
Don't be a little fool. Of course I killed him.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, cut out the dramatics. I've got to think. There must be something.
You murdered him and threw his body in the river?
And where do you think that money came from? Use your head.
But murder? Johnny.
I couldn't help it. He put up a fight and we had to let him have it. I didn't want to kill him. There was nothing else I could do. You know I wouldn't have killed him if I didn't have to. Don't you, Lindy?
I don't know anything anymore. What are you going to do now?
Do? What can I do? He made this investigation on his own. That's what he said, didn't he?
Well, yes, but
Then he probably hasn't told anyone yet. No one knows but him. At last, or at least that's the chance I've got to take. I can't be any worse off than I am now.
What are you talking about?
He'll never live to turn in that evidence. I'll see to that.
Johnny!
I'll get Charlie and Joe, and we'll make sure he doesn't.
No! No, you can't do that to Sid. I won't let you.
Me or him, Lindy. I don't have to think twice to decide which one I'd rather have it be.
No! Put down that phone. Please, Johnny.
Hello. Mike? Let me speak to Charlie, will you? Is he there? Good.
I said to hang up, Johnny. And I meant it.
Lindy, put that gun back on the table.
I said to hang up.
You won't shoot. Put it down like a good girl. Hello. That you, Charlie? Something's come up. I want you to get Joe and help me on the job. Yeah, right away.
I'm warning you, Johnny.
Meet me as soon as you can. Over. Meet me at... Oh.
Johnny! Oh, Johnny!
I really didn't think you'd shoot me, Lindy.
I had to. I couldn't help it.
You know, you've got a lot of spunk for a little thing.
Oh, Johnny, I'm sorry.
I thought I told you not to be sorry for anything. Ella, I told you anything you did would be all right, and I meant it.
No.
It wouldn't have ended good, no matter what. I'd just as soon have it this way. Honest, baby. But it wasn't all bad, was it? Some of it was fun. Tell me it was.
Yes, Johnny. Some of it was wonderful.
You know what?
What?
I guess maybe I never was meant to have a house with a front porch, a backyard, and...
Johnny! I don't know how long I sat there, on the floor beside him, holding him in my arms and rocking back and forth as if he were a child. There was blood trickling out of the corners of his mouth, and I wiped it off with my handkerchief. I knew he was dead, but I wiped it off just the same. And I sat there, holding him. Maybe part of those years had been wonderful. Now I'd never know. After a while, I got up, took my purse, and left the apartment. The rain had stopped. I started to walk, found myself running instead, running down that narrow little street. I didn't know where I was going. I just ran. The subway station was at the corner, and I went into that. I thought maybe I'd try and find my way home again, back to Mom and Sid. Then I'd be all right. I tried not to think of Johnny. Johnny lying dead where I'd left him in a little pool of blood. I dropped a nickel in the slot, and a minute later the train came roaring out of the tunnel. I'm sure I didn't know what I was doing. I just got on and sat down. The car was almost empty. I was tired. Tired all over. I leaned back and closed my eyes. When I opened them again, the train was crowded with people, and I hadn't remembered stopping to let them on. Suddenly, I wasn't quite so tired anymore. I sat up straight and looked around. A girl in front of me was hanging onto the strap, and in the other hand, she held her evening paper. I remember looking at it and reading the weather forecast. Fair and somewhat milder. I held my breath. Was it possible? It took every bit of courage I had to force myself to look at the date. And the date was February 21st, 1945. I can't explain how I felt then. I wanted to laugh, but to cry. I wanted to turn to the stranger sitting beside me and say, "Listen, mister, it was a dream. I just imagined it. I didn't kill anybody. This is still 1945, and I'm going home for supper." I did turn, and then I froze. I froze with such terror as I've never known before and will never know again. For the man sitting next to me was...
Pardon me, miss. Am I on the right train for 86th Street?
Well, no, you'll have to, that is... I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm afraid you'll have to ask someone else. You see, this is my stop, and I'm getting off.
From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubts and fears. For mystery is a strange companion, a living memory in the haunting hour. So stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment, for this is a time of mystery, a time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is The Haunting Hour. Unidentified body. A simple situation can become quite intriguing when fate steps in and adds the necessary twists. Take the case of the notorious gang who put a crime reporter on the spot because his articles were dangerous to them. Now, add this twist. The fact that the gang has never seen the reporter. And add this twist. The fact that the gangsters flee from a gunfight, carrying with them the unconscious form of a stranger, a man they do not know, a man who happens to be Jim Briggs, the newspaper reporter they would like to lay their hands on.
Who am I? Who am I? Is he on the level, Fred?
I think he is, Chief. If you can only teach Schmidt to keep his hands to himself.
I didn't do nothing.
Shut up.
I said shut up.
Watch where you're driving. And you still see the cops, Petey?
I think we lost him, Chief. It was a close call.
Too close. The town isn't safe for us. Not as long as that guy Briggs hounds us in the Daily Herald.
What do we do, Al?
We've got to get rid of him.
It won't be so easy now.
It's either him or us. Schmidt.
Yeah?
Take the next turn and head back to the hotel in town along Route 7. Let me tell you, Fred, this was Briggs' fault. He's got the cops worked up about us. He's got to go.
But how?
Where am I? What do we do with him? The way things are, we can't risk taking him to a doctor.
No, we'd better... Say, wait a minute. I think I can handle him, Al, by myself. Better than a doctor.
What do you mean?
Just that with Trigger doing a disappearing act and lying low for the time being...
You mean maybe this guy...
Yeah, you get it. We can use him.
Fine. Go ahead, then. He's all yours.
I don't want any interference.
Don't worry. I'll see that these monkeys climb up. You too, Schmidt.
I didn't say it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Fred.
What's the matter, fella?
My head hurts.
How'd it happen?
I don't know. I don't know anything. Who are you?
You know me. I'm Fred Booth.
Fred Booth? I don't remember.
Now, look, fella, I'm going to help you.
Help me?
Look at me. No, look right at me.
It's hard to hold my head that way. Hurts.
Try.
All right, I will.
You don't remember anything?
No.
Let's see about that. Where do you live?
I don't know.
What was your father's name?
His name was... I don't know.
Now, look, fella, you're in a bad way. You've lost your memory. You've got a lot of things to learn again about yourself.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm going to start off with your name, and then later I'll tell you all we know about you.
Thanks. Thanks a lot, Fred.
Your name is Trigger Martin. Real name Henry, but we've always called you Trigger. That sound familiar?
Trigger Martin.
You remember now? You ever heard the name?
Yes. Somehow it seems familiar.
Trigger, wake up. How are you? How's your head?
Oh, it's better, Fred.
You've been sleeping since we got here about 3 hours ago.
Here? Where's here? Oh, I remember the hotel.
That's right, the Crescent Hotel.
The Crescent Hotel.
What else do you remember?
Well, everything that you told me.
Anything else come back to you?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's all.
Now, what did I teach you?
My name is Trigger Martin. You're Fred Booth.
Go on.
Chief is Al Drake. The guy I was driving was George Smith.
Now, how about the little fella?
He's called Petey. Fred.
Yes, Trigger.
What do we do?
We?
Yeah, I mean, you're the brains, aren't you?
Well, yes, I'm the guy who figures things out for Al.
And Schmidt?
Well, Schmidt's good at safe cracking and some of the heavy work.
Oh.
Petey used to be a dip, a pickpocket. He's got light fingers. Nervous, but good to have around sometimes.
Oh, what about me?
The rest of us have pulled some pretty rough stuff, Trigger, but we've all kept our hands clean of your line.
Oh? What is my line?
It's murder, Trigger. Murder.
How's he getting along, Fred? Trigger.
Okay.
Your treatment?
Well, what's wrong with it?
Risky.
Nah, he'll be all right.
He'd better. We'll need him, but soon.
I told him just now that he was a killer.
Yeah? Any questions?
No, he just wants to learn all about himself.
Great.
Would you be liking your rooms cleaned now, Mr. Drake?
Sure, anytime, Mrs. Calder, but since when do you open doors without knocking?
Well, if you're not up at this time of day, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, it's not that, Mrs. Calder, but sometimes we have business conferences and can't be disturbed.
Oh, business, is it? Well, I've got a couple of dollars put away I'd like to invest.
Mrs. C., you're a great kidder.
And why should I be kidding? I'd like to live in style like you and Mr. Booth and the other gentlemen.
Well, finance is hard work, Mrs. Calder. You'd better stick to cleaning.
And that's just what I'll be doing if you gents will let me. Well, I'll start in this inside room and...
Mrs. Calder, I don't think you better go in there, not for a couple of days.
No?
One of our associates is in there sleeping.
Mr. Smith?
No, a new associate. He was hurt a little.
In a hunting accident.
He's got to have rest.
Oh, you. I'm thinking you'd just like to be living in a dirty room. Well, I'll be back later then.
I think you'd better. And remember, don't go in there.
I'll not be forgetting, Mr. Drake.
Chief, we ought to get out of town. Really hide out.
They can't pin anything on us yet. Besides, I like to live nice.
I like to live.
What's eating you? You don't have a murder rap against you?
So what?
Trigger's the only guy in this mob who ever had the chair to worry about. Now...
Al, calm down.
You saying something about me, Chief?
Trigger, you ought to be taking it easy in your own room.
I tried, but every time I lay down, my head started.
Something hurting you, Trigger?
Not exactly hurting.
What then?
This business. What you told me before about my killing people. I don't like it.
What's the matter, Trigger? You going soft?
Maybe I am.
You know what happens to pals of mine that goes soft?
No, I don't.
Nothing much. Nothing much that you'd care to hear about, and we don't even notify their families.
I don't know if that make much difference to me. I can't even remember my family.
You can't remember lots of things, but they happened, so what?
So I want to quit.
Trigger.
I want to quit, do you hear? I don't know what I did before or how I felt before, but I know I couldn't go around knocking off guys just because you put the finger on them. Not now. Maybe the shock on the head softened me or made me yellow or reformed me or whatever else you want to call it, but I just couldn't kill a guy, and I know it. Not now. There's something inside tells me.
What are you going to do about it, Trigger?
There's nothing to prevent me from walking out of here.
Why, you did it.
Take it easy, Al. Now, look, Trigger. How many guys have you knocked off?
I don't know. I can't remember. Can't remember anything except what you told me.
Now, listen to me, and listen carefully. I know of 6.
Me? 6 murders?
Yeah. And I don't know how many before you started working for Al.
I heard you'd done plenty.
Sure, you can walk out of here if you want to, but it won't do you no good.
I don't get it. 6 murders.
Practically every cop in the country's got orders to drag you in dead or alive. And with your rap as a cop killer, they're going to shoot first. Now, you want to walk, or do you want to play ball?
Well, I'll stay. I have to stay. Petey, will you stop jumping from one chair to another?
I can't help it, Trigger. Makes me nervous to stay in one place.
Well, then get out of here.
I can't. And with you sick like that.
You're not doing me any good. Why don't you get out?
Hi, Chief.
Well, Trigger, I see you've quieted down. Not so independent like you were a couple of hours ago.
Well, I'm okay now, I suppose.
Petey, you can take a few minutes off. I'll stay with Trigger.
Thanks, Chief.
Now, are you going to work for me, or do you want to be plugged by a cop?
I said I was staying.
Make sure you mean it. I've got a little job for you.
Oh? Who is it?
There's a little squirt of a reporter on the Daily Herald in this town, and he's out to cause trouble.
What's he done?
Shut his mouth off about me. Every day for the last week in his paper. He knows too much.
What's his name?
Jim Briggs.
Where can I contact him?
I don't know where he lives or what he looks like. Hogan, my outside man, is trying to get some dope on him before you go to work.
Right.
Okay. See you later. Pete.
Yes, Chief.
Fred, Schmidt, and me are going out on some business. You stay and keep Trigger company.
Sure, Chief.
So long. So long.
Pete, how long have I been working for Al?
2 years about. Why?
It's funny me not remembering. Who'd I work for before?
I don't know. You never told me.
Do I have any friends, outside the mob?
I don't know. You didn't talk much.
How about family?
I guess you got some.
Where do they live?
I don't know.
Did you ever see me with a girl or anything?
Why are you asking all these questions?
Come on, Petey, tell
I don't know nothing, I tell you.
I don't understand, Petey. Can't you tell me anything about myself?
Will you quit pestering me?
Petey, did I ever serve time?
Yeah, I think you did.
What prison?
Stop it. Will you? Don't ask me no more questions.
I only asked you what...
I can't stand it. I just shut up. Questions. I gotta get out of here.
Petey! What's the matter with that guy? Yeah, come in.
Excuse me, sir. You mind if I do a bit of dusting?
No, not at all. Come on in.
Mr. Drake told me not to disturb you, but the dirty room kind of gets you down when you have to stay in it, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
It's a nasty knock you've got on your head.
It's nothing. I just bumped into a door.
Oh? Well, if you'd like, I'll send Dr. Eisner up. He's the hotel doctor. Very good he is.
No, it'll get better by itself.
Just as you say, sir. Well, I'll be on my way now. Just a look in a promise, but I'll do a thorough job tomorrow.
Thanks. Oh, just pick up that piece of paper near the door, will you?
This one?
Yeah.
You want it?
Yes, please. Petey dropped it. I'll give it to him. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Here. Goodbye.
So long. Petey, tell Al everything's set for Trigger's burial. You supply body, Cogan. So they're going to get rid of me. Well, we'll see about that.
Trigger.
Yeah?
Did you happen to see me drop a little piece of paper?
Piece of paper?
Yeah. When I went outside.
No, Petey. No, I didn't.
Our story is about a mind from which all memory has been erased. Its owner was brought to the headquarters of Al Drake's notorious gang in the Crescent Hotel. There, his history was taught him by Fred Booth, brains of the gang. There he was told that he was Trigger Martin, who had killed many men. Even though he felt he could not go on with his murderous career, he knew he was bound to it by his past. But then he intercepted a message that indicated he was to be killed.
Everything's set for Trigger's burial. You supply body. Why do they want to kill me? The cops I can understand, but me, their own pal. I've got to get out of here. I've got to escape. I've got to.
Trigger.
What do you want?
Snap out of it.
I wasn't doing anything, Schmidt.
You're sitting there thinking I don't like it.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Talk.
Talk? I don't feel like talking.
Petey says you drove him nuts with your talking. Now you're quiet like a boneyard. Come on, talk.
All right, I'll talk. Do I have any family, Schmidt?
I didn't say for you to ask questions.
That's all I've got on my mind.
Well, keep me yourself then.
You don't like staying here with me, do you?
Al told me to. He said you shouldn't be left alone.
I'll be all right. I won't try to get away.
I didn't ask you that.
Oh, go ahead, Schmidt. I'll be okay. I'll play some of the records.
I don't want to get into no trouble with that.
You won't. Go on. Go on. Take a little time off.
Thanks, Trigger. I'll see you.
Pick a good loud record. Stardust, St. Louis Blue, Darktown, Strutter's Ball. Look at this. Personal Recording Studios, Boardwalk, Atlantic City. Regards to Al and all the gang from Gloria and Trigger. This I gotta hear. Gloria.
We're having a great time here, and we just thought we'd send you like regards from the boardwalk. Come on, Trigger, say something. It won't hurt you, Say hello. Say anything.
Well, I just want to send our regards, Al. I mean, me and Gloria. How long do I have to talk, Gloria? Well, I just want to send our regards, Al. I mean, me and Gloria. How long do I have to talk, Gloria?
Say hello. Say anything.
Well, I just want to send our regards, Al. I mean, me and Gloria. How long do
I'm not Trigger, then. I'm not. But who am I? Do they know who I am? Why are they trying to tell me I'm Trigger Martin?
He's asleep now, Chief. Petey's standing outside the door.
Fred.
Yeah?
I don't like it.
Why not?
It's too smart. It won't work.
Oh, what's worrying you?
Someone's going to miss him. That means trouble.
Maybe he don't know anybody in town.
That chance. Get him out of here tomorrow. Kill him.
Not me. I don't like murder. Look, Chief, the guy is sold completely on the idea that he's Trigger.
Gives me the willies. A Trigger waiting to be buried, and this guy thinking he's him.
Oh, stop acting like Petey. Look, the guy gets in our way when we're doing a job. Schmidt knocks him out with his clumsy mitts. We can't leave him around. None of us wants to bump him off unless we have to. Then I'd come to the rescue.
We should have left him there.
If I'd known he'd lost his memory then, I would have. But this way, he's going to bump off Briggs, and we'll be in the clear. It's a perfect setup.
You hope.
Sure it is. I'll figure it out for yourself.
I don't know, Fred. I only wish I knew who he was.
Trigger. How you feeling?
Oh, much better today, Fred.
Your head all right?
Oh, sure. Al told me he had a job for me.
Yeah.
I think I could do it today.
You better do it today. That's what I came to talk to you about.
Al said the guy's name is Jim Briggs.
That's right. And if you know what's good for you, Trigger, you're going to get him. But fast. Look what he says in today's paper. The most flagrant flouter of the law in this gang of hoodlums is a vicious gunman who goes by the name of Trigger Martin. Of all the members of this organized crime syndicate, he should be the easiest to convict, for it is rumored that he is responsible for at least 6 cold-blooded murders. How about some action, Mr. Police Commissioner? What do you think about that, Trigger?
Let me see that.
What do you want to say it for? I read you the part about you.
I want to see it.
Okay, here, punish yourself.
The most flagrant flouter of the law in this gang of hoodlums is a vicious gunman by the name of Trigger Martin.
And how do you like that? That guy's going to see that you burn unless he gets shut up. Hey, what's eating you?
Fred, did I ever see this article before?
No, you couldn't have. Just come out today.
For a second, I thought...
You got no time to think, Trigger. The only thing that'll do you any good now is to get a hold of that Briggs and...
Yeah. You're right, Fred. Briggs. He's my man. Listen, Al, I've been waiting 3 hours. I can't stand it. I got to get into action.
Take it easy, Trigger.
Let me track the guy down.
That's Petey's job.
Yeah, as soon as he's got the dope, I'll give the ghost on.
But, Al, I'm a dead duck if I don't nail Briggs, and soon.
Yeah, you will be. But we can't afford to make any mistakes.
That's what I've been telling him, Chief. But he got all worked up about those newspaper articles.
Save it, Trigger, until...
Well, that must be Petey. Open up, Schmidt.
Okay, Fred.
Well, Petey.
Any luck?
I just get a line on this guy, Briggs.
Go ahead.
Don't rush me, Chief. Makes me nervous.
Come on.
The Herald got him in from Chicago to do this job on us. He's new to town.
That's why we don't know him.
Yeah, I guess so.
Where's he live?
He's got his office set up and his room's in the same place. Sends his stuff to the Herald over the phone.
Petey, where does he live?
Gee, Chief, didn't I tell you? 41 McDougal Alley in the basement. One of them garden apartments.
Did you get that, Trigger?
Sure. 41 McDougal Alley in the basement.
Okay, that's right. And here's your gun. Now get going.
McDougal Alley. 47. 45. 43. 41. Basement. Careful. Maybe get trapped. Don't forget they've been lying all along. Careful. It's the door. Door to his apartment. Maybe he'll help me if he doesn't shoot me first. I'll try the door. But it's not locked. It's dark. I'll light a match.
Jump it, Regan.
Okay, Crider.
Let me go. No, you don't.
Let me, Crider.
Let go of me.
Watch it, Regan. He's got a gun. I see.
Good work. Right on the head. He's out.
Well, that'll take care of him for a while.
It was a close call. Closest I've had since I joined the force.
Yeah. That gun ain't no toy.
He's coming around. Better snap the cuffs on him.
Right. Wonder what his angle is on the case.
I'll question him. Hey, come on. Come on, snap out of it.
Wake up, you.
My head.
Come on out of it.
What? Hey, who are you? What are you doing here?
That's just what we were going to ask you.
Well, this is my apartment. My name is Briggs, Jim Briggs.
Jim Briggs disappeared 3 days ago. We're working on the case.
If you're Jim Briggs, maybe you can tell us where you've been.
Half the police force has been looking for Briggs.
I don't know. I can't remember. All I know is that I'm Jim Briggs, and this is my apartment.
Yeah? Do you usually come into your apartment with a gun in your hand?
I don't know. All I remember is... I remember watching a gun battle.
You sure you weren't in it?
And then... Yeah, I remember now. A little. I was in a hotel somewhere in town with some men named Drake and Booth and Schmidt and Petey.
Hey, Crider, that's Al Drake's mom.
Yeah. And this guy is one of them. He must be that Trigger Martin character. You know, we never got pictures of any of them.
No, I'm Jim Briggs, I tell you. Look, give me a chance. I think I can lead you to their hideout. Please. I think I remember where it is.
Okay, Fred, this was your idea.
He'll come back, Al. I got that guy completely bamboozled.
Now, listen, Chief. I don't want to stay here and be trapped. They'll get us. They'll get us for sure.
Petey, shut up.
What'd I tell you? He's back.
Okay, open up, Schmidt. Well, Trigger, did you do it?
You told me to kill him, didn't you?
Stop the dramatics. Of course I told you.
Well, I did it. I found the guy in his apartment. I was working at a desk. He looked up, and I gave it to him.
Let's have your gun, Trigger.
My gun? What for?
Come on, hand it over.
I threw it away.
I don't believe you. Schmidt, grab him.
No, you don't, Schmidt. Put up your hands. All of you.
Now, Trigger, no point in getting jumpy. How long do you think you'll get away with
Cut it. You know I'm not Trigger, and I know.
Whoever you are and whatever your game is, no one person doesn't stand a chance against four. You won't get out of here alive.
I think I will. Petey, open that door, quick.
Yeah, right away.
Come on in, Crider.
All right, you guys. Bundle these hoodlums into the wagon.
Did you get what you wanted, Crider?
Perfect. Direct evidence tying Drake to an attempted murder. We've been trying to get that for years.
Great work, Mr. Briggs.
Briggs, Booth, you idiot. We had the guy all the time.
Sure you had me. I didn't know it, and you didn't know it. Hey, that'll make a swell feature story. The case of the unidentified body, written by the corpse itself.
From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubts and fears. For mystery is a strange companion, a living memory in the haunting hour.
No. No, stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment. For this is a time of mystery. A time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is The Haunting Hour. Second Chance.
Boy, give us a break, Warden. My city desk is yelling for a story.
Yeah, how about that? Don't we read an interview with Duke Malone before the execution? You're wasting your time, boys. After all, it's a condemned man's privilege. If he wants to go out quietly, that's his business.
And what a business. Gangster, notorious gambler, racketeer.
A record of killings you couldn't pin on him, and now he gets the chair for murder of a nightclub singer.
Sure, the Duke's always headline news. Come on, Warden, give us permission to visit his cell, will you?
Forget it, fellas, forget it. You wouldn't see anyway. Now, if you'll excuse me, boys, I've got to test the power lights for the execution.
Just a minute, Warden. Any chance of a reprieve for Malone?
Well, he's got as much chance as you fellas have of getting a story. But come along now. You can try your luck anyway.
I'd better phone in this story, what there is of it.
You tell me Duke wasn't much help.
Okay, Duke. That's the last of them reporters.
Much obliged, Yeller. You did me a favor. Hey, somebody, the light. Something happened to the light.
Now, take it easy, Duke. You're only testing the power. Look, why don't you think of something else? Sort of take your mind off of... well, off of everything.
Are you kidding? With them just getting through testing the juice?
Yeah. I know.
You don't know from nothing. You never been in this spot.
Now, look, Duke. I've been on this job a long time. One thing I'll never get used to is seeing anybody go to the hot seat. You know why? Because I was raised in the slums, too. I know what a slum kid is up against.
Yeah?
Every time I see a killer getting his legs shaved, I always think it might have been me.
But it ain't you.
Listen, Duke. My brother robbed the store, killed the owner. He stopped a bullet while the cops was chasing him. And that was when I knew that I was going to head for the straight and narrow. Give myself a chance.
Chance?
Yeah. You see, Duke, you cheated yourself. You didn't give yourself a chance. Now, I'll bet if you could do it all over again, it'd be different.
You mean knowing what I know now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Guess maybe you're right. I know what the score is now. I'm wised up. But it's too late.
Well, I just wanted you to know I'm sorry.
Well, thanks anyway. Getting polite in my old age. It's a laugh. Old age. Something I'll never have, because one thing it's too late for me to get is a second chance. Second chance? Second chance, huh? Wonder, would it turn out different? Sure it would. I'd make it. Starting back when I was 14, hanging around a pool room, a punk headed for trouble. I would have made it different. I remember that day. Benny and I were shooting pool in Joe's place. Sure were a couple of tough kids. No tougher than the other kids in the gang. Yeah, I remember that day. Because if I'd said no, I would have said no if I had a second chance. I would have said no.
Sure shot, Benny. And no fair tilt in the pool table.
Hey, Duke. Sorry to bring up the game, but I gotta see you a minute.
Hi, Spike. Try number 7 ball in the left side pocket, Benny. Nice shot.
Duke, will you listen?
Move over, Spike. You're in Benny's way.
Yeah, I'm in the cops' way, too.
Huh?
What's up? Plenty. Fell down the street, met with an accident.
Yeah?
And accidentally, I got some fancy jewelry on me.
So what? Play it off the corners, Benny.
So maybe you can help me get rid of it.
My turn, Benny.
Did the cops see the accident?
I don't know. Maybe the guy squawked. Honest, Duke, I thought he was out like a light.
Leaving me behind the 8 ball, eh, Benny? Well, that's a cinch.
What's the matter with you, Duke? Ain't you sore at me?
No. Back him up, Benny.
Then I'm still in on that grocery deal tomorrow night, huh?
Oh, that. Oh, count me out, Spike. You can do it yourself.
And where'll you be tomorrow night? Tipping off the cops?
No. I'll be at night school plugging for a law course.
Quit your kidding.
I'm serious.
You're crazy, Duke. Night school? What brought that on?
Well, I don't know. I just got a funny feeling about things. Any objection?
Yeah. Come on, we'll talk about it at Steve's place. You need it. The cops. They're out to pick me up.
Yeah, and anybody with you.
Come on, Duke. Out the window to the alley. This way, Duke, with Betty and me. Aren't you coming with us?
Nix to that. From now on, I'm making a beeline. The other way.
What am I doing? I must be going nuts thinking this way. Giving myself another chance in my own mind. Yeah, but figuring this way, I know it would have been different. Because when they sent Spike up to the reformatory, I would have started night school. Sure, it'd have been rough. I'd have done it. I work days, I study nights. No time to get in trouble. I'd make a lawyer out of myself and stay away from the shady side of the law.
All right, Duke, get in the car.
Spike! What are you doing in front of my house?
Waiting for you, smart boy. What's the matter? Stay after school tonight?
Come on, let go of my arm. Spike, I'll let you have it with this law.
Nice talking, Duke. Tough kid's grown up into a tough lawyer. Grab him, Lloyd. Put him in a car.
Come on, let go.
Get in here.
Let go.
What is this, another one of your famous rides, Spike?
No, we're just going around the block a couple of times.
What do you possibly want with me?
Just thought you could use some easy money.
Not interested.
Use your head, kid. I got a proposition that's right up your alley.
Yeah?
It's this way. Now, the gang's doing fine. Why, we're in big business. Of course, we run into a little jam now and then.
Look, where do I fit in?
As a mouthpiece. A good lawyer who'll beat his brains out for us.
And I'm it, huh? Not a chance.
Think it over. You need the dough.
Maybe. I want it legitimately.
You're a sap. Not much like the kid I used to know.
Now, look, if you just tell Louie to drive me home...
Sure. You heard him, Louie. Back to Duke's place.
Oh. Gee, thanks, Spike. I'm sorry I can't be of service, but it's a case of mistaken identity. I'm not your man.
Maybe not. But I'll look you up again. You may change your mind.
Look, save yourself the trouble. You won't find me.
Oh, yeah? How come?
Because I'm putting plenty of neighborhood between you and me. Sure, I can figure it now. Spike was bad medicine. I'd have stuck to the straight and narrow, just like the jailer said. Sure, I'd have been lonely, but I'd have been able to take it until I got my law degree. Then I'd get me a wife for company. Nothing like responsibility to keep us steady. And to take my best girl for a ride on a ferry boat.
Nothing like a view of New York from a ferry boat on the Hudson.
Bess, you know something?
What?
I wish I could show you the whole world instead of just the skyscrapers of New York.
You will someday, Duke. I'm sure of it. Well, you're going places.
And you, Bess? Do you think you could be interested in sharing life with me?
Well,
Oh, please, before you make your decision, Bess, you know how I feel about you.
Honestly, Duke, I've never been quite sure.
But I thought I made myself perfectly clear.
That you preferred Anne's company to mine?
Oh, Anne, it's ridiculous. Oh, sure, I dated her a few times, but
Yes, dear.
What a cross-examination. Look, the whole truth and nothing but is... Well, that you're the girl for me.
You're positive, Duke?
I was never more sure of anything in all my life. Sure, with Bess, I'd have gone places. Anne was for a mug, a punk. But Bess and a law career, being top man as a lawyer. Fancy setup in Wall Street, right in with the big boys. The legit stuff.
Robert Duke Malone, attorney at law. Sorry, you'll have to make an appointment. I'll ring his secretary. Oh, Mr. Duke, good morning.
Morning.
Say, Duke, may I see you a moment?
Hi, Reynolds. I'm sorry to inconvenience you this way. Been waiting long?
Oh, that's all right. I know you're a busy man.
Come right into my office.
Thanks.
Tell me, how's the stock market affecting you these days, eh?
Not too well. Dropped a few heavy points recently. But things are bound to pick up, don't you think?
Well, frankly, Reynolds, I wouldn't know. You see, I've been so preoccupied with sure things that I have neither the interest or the patience for gambling.
Uh-huh.
Have a chair, Reynolds, won't you?
Oh, no, thanks. I just dropped by to invite you out tonight.
Well, really? Something special on the agenda?
Well, not exactly. I realized you might be lonesome. You know, your wife and children away at the country home. It occurred to me that maybe...
Well, that's really nice of you, Reynolds.
Then you'll accept my invitation?
At the moment, nothing could sound more attractive. I can certainly use an evening of relaxation. That's what I mean. That's something. Mixing with the real thing, society stuff. That's what success does for you. A beautiful wife, a fine family, a country estate. That's doing all right. Big shot with an evening off for relaxation with the upper crust. That's the relaxation for me. Oh, it was a wonderful floor show, Reynolds. I certainly enjoyed it.
Glad you liked it, Duke. Glad you liked it.
Tell me, who is that lovely nightclub singer? Huh?
Nice, huh? Hey, I noticed she sang right to you, Duke.
Objection sustained. What's her name, anyway? I didn't quite catch it.
Would you like to meet her?
Who wouldn't?
Well, fine. I'll take you backstage and introduce you.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute, that's wrong. That ain't the way to work out a second chance. I don't want to get mixed up with her again. Made me think of her. She's the nightclub singer that got me here. That's Jeannie Daniels. That's the girl I murdered.
Duke Malone, gangster, is in the death house awaiting his execution for murder. Something the jailer says makes him reconstruct his life, based on the premise that, given a second chance, he would not be ending his life in the electric chair. He goes back in time to his 14th year, when he first became involved with the law, changes the circumstances, and mentally builds up an honorable existence. All the trappings of success are there. A wife, a family, an estate, rich friends. But it seems inevitable for him to meet Jeannie Daniels again. Jeannie Daniels, the nightclub singer whose death put him on the spot. The girl he murdered.
I don't want to get mixed up with Jeannie Daniels again. That's why I'm getting away from it on my second chance. I can't shake her. She's staying right there in my mind. Oh, I get it. I get it. This is going to prove that things would have been different. This is going to prove I ain't going to make the same mistake twice. I'll show her. I'll show her. Come on, Jeannie Daniels. Come on back into my life. Here we are. Let's park for a while.
Really, Duke, I've got to get some sleep. It's almost 4:30 in the morning.
You know, it's funny, but the time element seems completely unimportant when I'm with you, Jeannie.
Yeah. We have a swell time together.
Oh, and incidentally, that reminds me, are you free for dinner tomorrow evening?
Hey, what is this, a big rush act? I've been seeing a lot of you, Duke.
Yes. And oddly enough, all the time I've been with you, I had the strangest feeling about us.
What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know exactly. Call it premonition, if you like.
Don't tell me you believe all that voodoo stuff.
Yes, but this is different somehow.
Well, let's have it straight.
Well, frankly, Gina, I'm at a loss to explain it, but well, I don't know what to say. Something just keeps telling me to stop seeing Jeannie Daniels.
Well, I like that. Listen, Duke, you'll see me, and as often as I want you to.
Well, you know, if it weren't for a chance introduction by Reynolds, we'd never have met at all.
No, it wasn't Reynolds. It was that thing you're always talking about. Faith.
Well, you will admit that Reynolds helped some, eh? And, by the way, just how well do you know him?
Just an acquaintance. Met him at the club. Oh, so that's what's bothering you.
Oh, no. It's not it at all. I don't know. I'm too confused to explain clearly, but... Jeannie, believe me, there's one thing I'm certain of.
Yes, Duke?
You and I were meant for each other. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm getting all messed up again. No. Not this time I won't. No matter what she does, no matter what happens, it won't end the same. That's what I'm proving. There's no such thing as fate. You make your own fate. I'm making it different this time.
Well, Duke, I thought I'd find you backstage in Jeannie's dressing room.
Hello, Reynolds. How are you?
Hey, you're just in time to admire my diamond pin. Isn't it lovely, Reynolds?
It's a honey, Jeannie. A little present from Duke?
Yes. It's rather in the way of an anniversary gift.
Really? What anniversary?
2 brief weeks. And I feel as though I'd known Jeannie for a lifetime.
Another bracelet, darling. Oh, you're spoiling me, Duke.
You like it?
Oh, it's a honey. I'll bet it cost a pretty penny.
What difference does that make? Darling, nothing is too expensive for your pretty face.
This is our best selection of white sapphires, Mr. Malone.
I see. Well, yeah, I'd say this second ring on the tray seems attractive enough.
For Miss Daniels, sir?
Yes, of course. Send it, will you, please? I believe you have the address.
Certainly, sir. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry Miss Daniels didn't enjoy the diamond bracelet.
I beg your pardon?
Yes, she returned it this morning.
Was there something wrong with it?
Well, not exactly. She just didn't like the style.
And chose something more suitable, perhaps?
Well, no, sir. Miss Daniels asked for a refund. I hope I did the right thing, Mr. Malone. I notified your office at once.
Yes, of course. But in the future, please understand. Anything Miss Daniels decides is all right with me. Getting in deep. I'm acting like a sap. Let me get away with murder. Murder. No, there won't be any murder this time. I learned my lesson. I'm playing it right. No matter what she does, I'm keeping it in the clear. No matter what she does or says.
For heaven's sake, stop beating about it, Duke.
But it's reasonable to expect some kind of explanation.
Well, it does happen, that's all.
Then why all the mystery?
Well, I returned the bracelet and took cash. So what? It was my gift.
Yes, certainly it was, but why not tell me about it
Oh,
first?
I was going to get around to it, so the jeweler beat me to it.
Look, Jeannie, I don't understand this.
All right, if you want to play dumb.
I'm not stupid, Jeannie. If you needed the money, why did you ask me for it?
Because, well, you're so moody these days. I'm afraid to tell you anything.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. It's those awful headaches I get. You know, it's strange, but I never dreamed that you wanted cash that badly.
Well, it's time you woke up.
Yes, maybe you're right.
After all, a smart girl needs plenty of clothes and things, and I'm smart enough to want the best.
Well, go on. It's strange.
And besides, it's a cozy feeling being in the chips. Of course, if you think I'm too demanding, well, then...
No. Don't say it, Jeannie. Look, I don't know what it is that makes me feel this way, but... Well, I know I'd pawn my life to be with you.
That's enough ice, Duke. You're messing up the kitchen.
There. The ice in the glasses, Jeannie.
Heaven's sake, Duke, put down that ice pick before you kill somebody.
I can handle it.
Well, come on. Let's go back to the gang in the living room.
Just a moment. Shut that door and come back here.
Why are you looking at me that way?
I'm just curious, my dear, that's all.
About what?
About the $5,000 in cash that you need by tomorrow night.
I don't have to tell you anything. That's my business.
Oh, and it's my money.
Hey there, you two. You've been neglecting us.
If you don't mind, Reynolds, we're busy.
Oh, excuse me. Well, finish whatever you're doing and join us.
Why don't you stay and help, Reynolds?
Reynolds, that's not such a good idea.
Oh, I get it.
Duke's in one of his moods again.
Well, don't let it break up the party, huh?
Come on, let's get out of here. You give me the creep.
You're not leaving until we straighten things out.
Duke, I've told you 100 times.
I insist on the truth this time.
Duke, put down that ice pick.
Ice pick? Oh, believe me, Jeannie, I didn't realize I had it in my hand. Oh, that was a close one. I gotta watch it. I gotta get hold of myself. Because this is the test. The girl is the same, but the guy is different. Me, I'm different. I've got education, I got class. I can't spoil things in my second chance. I'll give her the money. Now, what's $5,000 to me? Life is much too sweet this way. I'll just give her the dough tomorrow, that's all. Maybe I'll break off with her. Yeah. When I give her the cash, I'll tell her that we're through.
Better talk louder, Reynolds. There's something wrong with this phone.
I said, is everything all set, Jeannie?
Couldn't be better, darling.
Huh? Why, what happened?
Oh, Duke gave me some trouble. He waved an ice pick in my face.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, don't worry, sweetheart. It won't happen again. I bought a gun, a .45, just in case. Hey, hold on a minute, Reynolds. I thought I heard something.
Huh? Hello?
Oh, yes, darling.
What was it, Jeannie?
Oh, the wind, I guess. Don't worry, Reynolds. I can take care of myself.
Say, you think he suspects anything?
Suspect that I'm giving you his hard-earned dough? Not a chance. Well, I'm his little soulmate. Fate brought us together. Isn't that a laugh?
Go on, Jeannie. Go on. Tell Reynolds what a complete fool I've been.
Duke, it's you.
Yeah.
Hello, Jeannie. Hey, what's going on there? Hello?
I know it's funny, but I had a strong feeling that this would happen.
Duke, where'd you get that gun?
Right from your dresser, Jeannie. Very convenient.
No, Duke, no. Listen, I can explain everything. Wait. Please.
I was wrong. There's nothing to explain. Everything is very plain, very plain. I'm going to do it all over again. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to kill Jeannie Daniels again.
Jeannie has to be.
Yeah, I just couldn't help it. I had to kill her. You see, no matter what kind of life I would have led, the end would have been just the same. Yeah, I know that now. Thinking it out, giving myself a second chance, a million chances, wouldn't have made it any different. Because I was wrong about one thing. One thing. You don't make your own fate. It's there all the time. Written out for you long before you come along. Yeah. So let him come. Let him shave my leg and my head. That's the way it had to be.
Gosh, watching an execution isn't the nicest experience I can think of.
I don't seem to mind this one.
Well, they're turning on the final switch.
Yeah. I guess Duke's had more than his share of living.
And tough luck, too. The brakes were all against him.
You never know. He lived the way he had to.
But what a way to go out.
I think Duke's resigned to his fate by now.
I don't know. If he could relive his life, I'll bet he'd think twice before murdering anybody.
Perhaps. But you know, life has a way of dictating and catching up with you. No, even with a second chance, he'd probably wind up in the chair.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Some guys never learn.
From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubts and fears. For mystery is a strange companion, a living memory in the haunting hour. No. No, stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment. For this is a time of mystery. A time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is the Haunting Hour.
Revenge.
Listen. Those are bells tolling in requiem for a man who has died. How did he die, you ask? Ah, listen to what happened to a girl who knew and whose mind was clouded dark with the fear of knowing. Listen to a tale of murder. It is late afternoon. Lee House is set strangely on a cliff beside the rolling sea. Autumn leaves fall, and with them the threads of night. And in a car, parked a little distance from the house at a pillared gate, sits a girl behind the wheel. Beside her stands an old man with sad and beguiling eyes.
It's a bad night, Miss Anna, to be driving the sea road.
I know, Jameson. But I must go. I must. How could I spend another night in that house? What could be keeping him?
This young man, Miss Anna, is he...
He's a good driver, Jameson. I'll be perfectly safe.
I do hope you will be, ma'am. Listen, you can hear the surf from here. How Mr. Jonathan loved the sea.
Jameson, don't. Oh, there's rain behind that wind, I bet.
Annabelle!
It's in my mind. The memory of him. I can still see him. Like that night a few weeks before he died. I mustn't think of it. Not now. Not now.
You can't forget me, Annabelle. Even when I'm dead, I'll live in your mind. I'll feed on your fear of my ghost.
I'd rather be dead. Jonathan, let me out of this house. Let me go.
My dear, you're too lovely for others to see, so I've no choice but to keep you within these walls.
Within this prison, you mean? Even that chauffeur's a spy. There isn't a moment of the day when I don't feel a pair of eyes watching everything I do. They even pry into my thoughts. Jonathan, if you have any kindness in your heart...
Look, here at the window. The ocean is white capped, far you can see.
Why do you torture me? How can you hate me so much?
I don't, my Annabelle. And this pleading, it's no use. You'll never forget me. I'll never let you go. I'll never let you go. Miss Anna, why so pensive?
Oh, I was thinking. Remembering. Jameson, are you sure you want to be caretaker at Lee House? You won't be lonesome?
I wouldn't leave it, Miss Anna. It'd be like leaving my little girl, my daughter Amy.
You loved her very much, didn't you?
That I did. And the morning we found her, at the bottom of the cliff down there in the cold, was almost more than my heart could bear. But that was long ago. Look there. Reckon that's the young man coming now.
Oh, yes, it is. Goodbye, Jameson. You've been a good friend. Thank you for that. Goodbye.
Good luck, Miss Anna, wherever you go.
Jim. Oh, Jim, I thought you'd never come.
Hello, Anna. Sorry.
Here, climb in here. Take the wheel.
Okay. A few last things to do at the Hendersons. You know how it is.
Oh, Jim, hold me close.
I was so worried. I was afraid you might think I wasn't coming. And all the time running over that hill, my heart kept pounding, saying, Simpleton Jim Brandt, even late for his elopement. Well, ready to start, Mrs. Brandt? Just you wait and see what a swell honeymoon trip I've got planned for us, Mrs. Brandt.
Oh, it's so wonderful. But is it real, Jim?
What do you mean real? Of course it's real.
Well, it seems like a good dream. After the last 3 months since he died, I've lived in a nightmare since then.
But it's over now.
Over and done with. Jim, don't think me silly, but they don't exist any longer, do they? I mean, people who are dead.
My heavens, no. Except in somebody's mind, maybe. Somebody who was close. A wife or a daughter like you, maybe. Especially a good-looking daughter like you.
Yes. I want to tell you something, Jim.
My, don't you sound serious, though.
I don't want to be serious. All I want to do is be close beside you.
Say, there's a road somewhere ahead that cuts off about 10 miles. Country road. We'll have to watch for it.
Remember the first day we met, Jim? That little country road?
Mm-hmm. Wasn't far from Lee House.
You just walked down that road from the Hendersons, and when I came along, you were poking at some rocks with a long stick, and I couldn't imagine what you were doing.
Oh, hey there, young lady. Would you like to see something?
See what?
Well, come here and find out. A whole nest of them. Down in this crevice in the rocks.
Nest of what?
Well, come and see. They won't bite you.
Oh, no, you tell me. I'd rather not look. That rattling...
Yeah, it does give them away. Well, it's a mama snake and, I don't know how many chillin' in the nicest snake house you ever saw. Big fellas, too.
Oh, then you let them alone before they come out.
They'd be as scared of you as you'd be of them. Well, say, you live around here somewhere?
Yes, but I must go now.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm Jim Brandt, architect over at the Hendersons' place. Been adding that new wing and rebuilding the stable.
I heard about it.
Where do you live?
At the Lee House.
I've been on lots of walks around here, but I've never seen you before. How come?
I don't often go out.
Say, you must be Mr. Lee's daughter, huh? Or has he got a daughter?
I really can't talk with you, Mr. Brandt. I've got to hurry home.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Oh, hey, Miss Lee. Maybe I'll see you around here again sometime.
First time we met. Remember?
You were mighty strange that day.
I was afraid.
Afraid? Afraid of what?
Oh, I don't know. I guess because all the days were so full of him. Like the day he disappeared.
What do you mean, Anna?
We went sailing alone that day. Then suddenly the squall blew up, the wind and the waves, and nobody ever saw him again.
Annabelle!
Yes, Jim?
Annabelle Lee!
Huh?
Annabelle!
I didn't hear what you said.
I didn't.
But you did. You said my name.
You were just half asleep, that's all. Hey, what's that? Doggone it, Anna, we got a flat tire.
Don't stop, Jim. Don't stop here.
We have to. I can't ride the rim.
But there's nothing to fix it with, Jim. Let's go on, please. I don't care about the tire.
Anna, what's the matter? You think I'm going to ruin a perfectly good... Hey, look. There's a little house up there. I'll bet he's got a jack. Hey, up there. Darling, don't look like that.
What's the matter?
Hello. Sorry to bother you. Have you got a jack I can borrow? Flat tire.
Sure. Hey, son, go get the jack out of the car.
You see, Anna, we'll have it fixed in no time. Oh, darling, don't look peeved.
You people headed for the turnpike?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
You're going the wrong way. Shortcut's back about a mile.
Oh, you mean we're past it?
Well, how do you do there, ma'am? Didn't see you at first.
How'd you do?
Don't guess you remember me. I come over and helped your husband's man, Jameson, fix the gardens this spring.
Jim.
It's too bad he's lost in that squall, Miss Lee. He's a fine gentleman, Mr. Jonathan was. It grieved us all to see your husband go like that.
Jim, you turned back. You're taking me home.
You were Jonathan's wife, Anna.
Don't take me back. I didn't lie to you, Jim. I was going to tell you.
When? After we got married? After...
No, I was going to tell you tonight. That second time I saw you after Jonathan disappeared, you asked my name. Even then you thought I was his daughter, and something wouldn't let me say I was his wife. You were so much older, Jim. Nearly 20 years.
How long were you married?
4 years. 4 dreadful years. I never loved him.
Anna.
I can't help it. He kept me like a prisoner in that gloomy house, watching me every minute. Oh, Jim, I do love you. Don't take me back.
It's all right, Anna. Don't get upset. Just be quiet for a few minutes. What's the matter? What are you looking back for?
Something's following us. I can feel it, Jim.
On this lonely road?
You're sorry you ever came.
Anna, stop it.
Say you're not sorry. Say you forgive me for deceiving you.
I do forgive you.
Then everything's all right, Jim. Don't hate me.
Oh, Anna, no. Let's not talk about it. Not now.
Yes, let's forget. Let's talk of something else. Look, it's beginning to rain. Night's come.
Yes. Listen to it on the roof. Seems to be saying your name. There's a poem written about you. Know that?
Yes.
Pose. I used to know it by heart. It was many and many a year ago in a kingdom by the sea.
That a maiden there lived, whom you may know.
That's it.
By the name of Annabel Lee. And this maid, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me.
Hey, you know it too.
Heard it 1,000,000 times. I know it all, every syllable. Jim, listen.
What?
It was many a year ago in a kingdom by the sea.
Jim, look.
What is it?
On the road in the lightning. A man in the rain.
Anna, it's not anybody.
But you don't know. He was in the house from that first day he disappeared. I could hear him even before that. Out at sea, calling my name.
Oh, Anna, you've got to stop this.
But Jim...
You're just imagining it, I tell you.
Jim, I've got to tell you. I can't go on without telling you the truth.
What truth?
I killed him.
Anna.
I killed Jonathan. I killed my husband.
What are you saying?
Now you know. Now you can take me back to Lee House. You can take me back home. Back to him.
Jonathan Lee is dead. And our story begins one night a few months later when Anna, a young woman who has lived in seclusion for 4 years at Lee House, is to be married to Jim Brandt, a young architect. Jameson, the old caretaker, sees her off in the station wagon. And as Anna and Jim drive along, she confesses that she was Jonathan's wife, that she herself murdered him. Her mind is distraught with a terrible fear that the dead man is somehow among the undead, that he is waiting for her.
Oh, Anna, I don't believe you. What are you saying?
That I killed him. I planned to kill him.
No, you couldn't have.
I had to tell you. Because Jim, somehow he's not dead. You said the dead only live in somebody's mind. And they do. But they also live beyond the mind.
Oh, Anna, please.
That's why I couldn't wait to tell you. Calmly and sanely in the light of day. Jonathan's waiting somewhere for me.
Now, Anna, listen.
Don't you see, Jim? I thought I could run away from him. I thought I could send him out to sea and he'd never come back again.
Here, I'm going to stop the car.
Oh, no. Jim, please, no. If you loved me, take me on.
And tell me why. Why on earth did you do this?
I had to.
Tell me why.
That poem you mentioned. He used to say it to me. He used to love it. I'll hear him till I die. His voice droning out the words. Sometimes, Jim, he'd lie awake and I'd hear him whispering it over and over. I'd see, mournful and sad. When I started working in the village at the library, 5 years ago that was, he used to come in and ask for Bo. At first I thought he was just a lonely old man. Lonely because his wife was dead. That day, late in October, he asked me if I'd take the job of cataloging his library. It was right after my mother died. I was alone. He used to come in that big, dark room and ask to help. He used to say, "You're working too hard, Annabelle. Come for a sail with me." I went once or twice. He'd look at me with a strange kind of laughter in his eyes. Then he asked me to marry him. He asked me a dozen times. At last I did. And then 4 years in that house with the sea always pounding, the wind crying in the cove.
But what did he do, Anna? What could have made you...
He was going to kill me. Just as he killed the first Mrs. Lee.
What? He murdered her?
Oh, Jim. I had to do it. From the day I married him, I wasn't allowed out of that house. Except when he went along. That afternoon I met you. He'd gone for a sail, and I planned to run away.
Yes, you did have a suitcase, I remember.
But when I met you, I'm sure you were one of his spies, so I had to go back again. That night, I went to his room. He was sitting in the huge chair by the fire. He looked up and smiled that grim smile.
Did you want something, Annabelle?
Jonathan, you loved me once. I had pity for you once, if not love. Oh, listen to me, please.
But you said it all before, hundreds of times.
I couldn't say it enough, Jonathan. Please, please let me go. I'll do anything you say if you'll only let me go.
But, my dear, when I met you, didn't my money please your eye? Isn't it enough to have that?
It wasn't your money, Jonathan. It was pity for you. Only pity. I thought it was love.
Where is your pity now? No, Annabelle. I couldn't let you go. You'd find pity for another man and grow to believe that you loved him, too. How could I bear such a thing to happen? No. You see, your pity, as you call it, is only for me. Until the day you die.
What do you mean? Jonathan, what do you mean?
Soon, I'll let you go, Annabelle. Some day soon you must go for a sail with me.
I screamed and ran from him. My mind was sick with terror. What was I to do? The house was like a prison, and everywhere I turned were shadows and gloom, and Jonathan was part of it all. But I had one friend, and he'd come to me when I needed him most.
Hannah, don't turn on the light.
Jameson, where are you?
Here beside you. I've been waiting in your room because I had to see you without him knowing it.
Oh, Jameson, you've got to help me. I've got to get out of here.
No, Miss Anna. That's what he wants you to do. That's why I came to stop you from going.
Why?
He'd follow you. He'd find you.
You heard what he said?
I've heard it before. The other Mrs. Lee. She begged him to let her go. Time and again she begged him. And one day, she took a boat from the cove.
He said she was lost in the sea.
Yes, Miss Anna. But Mr. Jonathan followed in a skiff, and then she never came back. He murdered her.
Jameson.
It's the truth.
I believe you. I do.
Then wait and plan. I'll help. But he mustn't know about it. Tomorrow, we'll talk tomorrow. If he goes sailing again.
Sailing? You're right, Jameson. I won't run away. I know now what I have to do. I know now what I must do. That night, I made my plan. The next day, he did go sailing. And that was when I caught them. With a little cord noose I made myself. I lay on the rocks for a long time, looking down, waiting till I could get the cord over their heads.
Caught what?
The rattlesnakes you showed me that day.
Yeah.
I caught them and took them down to the cove in a box. And that night I put them in his boat in a coil of rope. I left them there.
Oh, Anna, how terrible.
The next day he went sailing again. He didn't see them at first. The motion of the boat and a sharp sting on his leg. And waiting in the dark, I could picture him. Fighting, drawing back, turning loose of the boom, climbing out of the pit. And the squall came. And he was gone.
Oh, Anna, what are we going to do?
But I had to, Jim.
It wasn't because of me.
I'd only seen you once. I didn't know you weren't somebody he'd hired to watch me till I saw you again and again after he was dead. Oh, Jim.
Anna, look out. Hold on. It's a cliff. We're hanging over the edge, Anna. Get out, quick. Here, take my hand. This side, Anna, this side. That was close. You all right?
I'm all right.
Look, we nearly went over into the sea. Golly, we'd both have been killed.
Jim! Jim!
What, Anna?
We're back where we started. There's the house and the cliff.
What?
You brought me back.
Anna, you know I didn't.
Jim, look. Who is it, Jim? Yonder on the road.
I don't know.
It's Jonathan. He's walked up from the sea. Oh, let me go, Jim. Let me go.
Oh, it's only some man. Anna, come back here. Come back.
Hey, down there. What's the trouble?
Quick, man. Help me stop her.
Huh? Oh, where'd she go?
I'm Jameson. We had an accident, Jameson. She's gotten some crazy notion in her head about a ghost. Look, she's running across the lawn.
Down to the sea path. Hurry. Miss Anna, it's me, Jameson.
Oh, Jameson. It's you. It's you.
Anna, where were you running to?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, my darling. You frightened us nearly to death.
It was only me on the road, man.
I thought
She's shivering, sir. Here, take my coat, Miss Anna. It's Providence that brought you back tonight.
Why, Jameson?
There's nothing to say, Jameson. Jim, take me to the house.
But when Jonathan sailed away that day, the snakes weren't in the boat. I took him out. You see, he could have heard their rattles. And anyway, sir, I couldn't have Miss Anna do such a thing.
James, you mean...
I couldn't have her do it, sir, when rightly the job was mine.
What you're trying to say...
It was my daughter Amy I was thinking of. How Mr. Jonathan drove her to love him like she did. And how he would smile at her in that laughing way, so that she jumped from the rocks here down to the sea.
And that was why...
So, that day, before he went for his last sail, I cut the rigging ropes. And when the wind took the canvas strong, as it does when you ride the swells, they snapped. And I stood here on the cliff and watched the boom fly free, and down he went beneath it.
Oh, Jim.
How could I watch him murder you, Miss Anna, as he'd murdered my Amy?
Oh, you're free of it, Anna, now. Don't you see? It was only the fear in your mind.
I've got a fire going in the library, Miss Anna.
I'll take her in, Jameson.
I'll go see if I can get your car off the cliff.
Oh, no, Jameson. Let it alone. We don't care about the car.
But you two can be on your way again when the rain blows over.
Come along in, Anna. We're cold now. Here, pull the coat around you.
He did it for me, Jim.
Are you all right now?
Now I am. Jim, look. What's Jameson doing?
He's climbing in the car.
Stop him, Jim.
What? He started the motor.
But the car's hanging over the edge of the rocks. Jim, stop him. It's toppling. It's toppling over the cliff. Oh, Jim, how awful. It went over the cliff.
Down to the sea in the cold.
He did it all for me.
And for me, too, darling. But he's made everything all right, Anna. He's made everything all right.
From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubt and fear. For mystery is a strange companion, a living memory.